Hello and welcome to Poker Night Live, the only show to bring you live Texas Hold'em poker 7 nights a week, alongside commentary from our team of experts. Tonight's expert, the poker guru himself, Nick Wealthall. I'm Kara Scott, and we're here for the next 4 hours to help you out with your poker.
Thanks for saying guru.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're good to me, aren't you?
You know, I'm trying to build you up a little.
Yeah, well, I need it.
Not that. No, I was going to say not that you need it.
Well, people that were watching last night know I was 6th.
Were you?
Out of 8 in our Beat the Presenter. Yeah, still
Sorry,
hurts in there.
I was 5th.
Yeah.
I was 5th. I bit him.
Who's the expert? That's the question, isn't it?
That's a very good question. We'll have to throw that one to the audience.
Are you going to play tonight, aren't you?
I am going to play tonight.
Cool.
Yes, I'm very excited about this. It'll be my 3rd tournament, and I'm really looking forward to it.
And you've gone 7th,
Yeah.
5th.
So now it's into the money. Come on, the money.
The money for the Scots.
I hope so. I'm not going to put my hopes on it too much.
Well,
though.
I am.
Yeah? You put money on it? I wouldn't.
Yeah, for the couple of the viewers, we'll sort it out later.
Yeah, and speaking of the viewers, it's time to say hello to all of our viewers out there, the ones in the UK, but also we're being joined by the Scandinavian viewers, the German viewers, and the Baltic states as well, and as well as people all over the world, because you can watch us on the internet as well. So people in Canada as well, like my mom. Hi.
Hi, Kara's mum.
Yeah, well, there you go. But there are lots of ways you can get in touch with us here in the studio. We are live and interactive. We live for your questions. So the first way you can get in touch with us is by text at 62211. Or if you have a question for us or for the expert, as you can see, it's going to say, ask the expert, and that's Nick.
Hello.
Hello. And the poker at pokernightlive.co.uk, that's the email address. And if there's any following questions to that, you can take a look at the website, www.pokernightlive.co.uk, for all your poker needs. And also, one of the new things on our show, why not have your say? You can call 0906 200 7080 and leave a message or a question. It will get played out live on air, and we will answer it or discuss it. But don't forget to ask permission from whoever pays the bill, because there's a bit of a charge for that. But the emails and the text work just as normal, so get your questions in. And it's beginner's night, isn't it? It is beginner's night. So we'd really encourage you, if you've just taken up poker, or you've just been watching us for a little while and you haven't made contact yet, we want to hear from you. And it doesn't matter, guys, how basic your question is. Don't think, oh, they've answered this 100 times or whatever. If you've just started learning, we all started at some point or other. We want to hear from you. Ask away and we will help you out. Absolutely. And I think that a good thing to talk about today on the show, even for those of you out there who've been playing for a little while, because it is beginner's night, how about you email in or text in and let us know the one thing you really wished you'd known when you started playing poker? Is there something that is finally kind of... Thank you very much. Very good. I see what you've done there. Thank you very much. Yeah. I kind of think so. What is the one thing you wished you'd known in your first tournament or in the first few months you've been playing? Because I think that's going to help people out there who are new, I wish I could do that in my life with, like, relationships. Yeah? What is the one thing you wish you'd known? Except I still don't know anything, so, but when I'm 70 and I know a little bit, if I could go back and... Yeah. Right, well, we've only got 4 hours tonight, so I don't know if we're going to get to that. Okay, so we'll stick to poker. We might just stick to poker, yeah. But let's see what we've got on the show tonight. Which games we've got? Oh, I do this, don't I? This is your bit. Here we go. Crikey. 25 cent, 50 cent cash game, that one is. The players can put down $50 as a maximum. This one, by contrast, is a tournament with a $10 entry fee. Some familiar faces on there. I say faces, I mean names. One day it'll be their faces and we'll be able to wave to them. They won't see us. That's all in the future, like roast dinner pills and jetpacks. I like your idea of the future. There's another $20 tournament. And as well as the mix of ongoing cash and single table tournaments, we also got our multi-table tournament. This is the big one, 259 poker mentalists all battling for a first prize of $712 for a $10 buy-in. Somebody's life is going to change tonight. Yeah, I'll say. What would you do if you won $712, Kara? I'd put it in a nice, safe ISA. Would you? No, I'd probably buy a pair of shoes I would never be able to afford ever again. Me, I'd move to France and never work again. You know what? That's a much better idea. Thank you. Is there still bits of France you can do that for $712? Yeah. I'm going there. There we go. I'm going there. After the show. Yeah, right. Yeah. Let's take a look back at the MTT and you can talk us through the whole idea of multi-table tournaments. Oh, yes. Okay. Okay. Multi-table tournament, always a highlight of the show.
on a nightly basis.
Ah.
So what we've got is 259 players. I know we can only see 8. The rest are out there somewhere.
Where are they, Nick?
They're in the virtual world, Kara. The world inhabited by Lawnmower Man and Tron.
Oh, Tron.
Remember? With the special line motorbikes?
Yeah.
Brilliant. And the old man that was just sitting there being nice to people to solve plot holes. You have to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
259 people. Now, they all pay the same amount of cash. This is a real poker game for real cash. They all pay $10. And that goes into the prize pool. In return for that $10, they secure themselves 1,500 chips. And this is a different multi-table tournament. Oh, see, as I told you, there are other players out there.
I see. So now it's all making sense.
That's right. In fact, we've got, there'll be 30 tables, or something like that, actually slightly less than that. They all get the same number of starting chips, which I believe is 1,500.
I think it is, yeah.
But I forget little details like that. No, I do. I'm terrible.
Poker Junior set you up.
I'm too busy thinking about massively complex.
Big picture. Yes.
They all get 1,500 chips for their $10, and then they play No Limit Hold'em. What's No Limit Hold'em? You may be asking. If you're asking that, it just means you can bet any amount of your chips at any point in a poker hand.
Right.
There's no limit to your betting. So if he wanted to, Bagger right now could put in all of those 2,070 chips. And he almost did, look.
Ooh.
And they play No Limit Hold'em until there's only one player left. So as when you run out of chips, that's it. You're done. You're out of the tournament. So the last person with chips will end up having every single chip in play. Some 388,000, would you believe?
Yes.
And prizes are awarded for the last remaining players. I think, just looking at the prize structure in this one, the last 30 players standing will finish up in the money. And obviously, the higher you finish, the more money you get. That's the multi-table tournament. What happens during the course of the tournament is that the blinds escalate.
Right.
Forever, theoretically. And they go up every 12 minutes. The blinds, if you're really new to the game, are the forced bets to the left of the dealer button. The dealer button is the D that we can see with Emma 1976 at the bottom of the screen. And the two players to Emma's left have to place this bet before they get any cards. If you've heard the term ante, like upping the ante in day-to-day parlance, the blinds are a substitute for the ante. They fulfil the same purpose, which is to get the action going in the game. Otherwise, there'd be nothing to compete over, no incentive. And because the blinds go up and up, that means that you can't just sit there and wait for the best hand. The blinds will eventually eat you away. At the moment, they're 10 and 20, as we can see on screen.
But by the end of the tournament, they're up to like...
That'll be massive. We
may 1,500, 3,000, or...
Maybe even more, Kara.
Wow.
Yeah.
But they go up differently than they do in a single table tournament, don't they? Because there is a bit more play in this. They don't actually double each time.
No, they're kind of graded, so they go up a little bit at a time. So this tournament will actually last about 3 hours, and we'll see the final table either in our third hour or our last hour. So, you know, stick around.
Stick around. It's all
because it peaks at the end.
It does.
It's like a beautiful evening out, but it's an evening in. I don't know where I'm going with this.
No.
That's explained multi-table tournaments, hasn't it?
It has done, I think
we're all on board. I think we all agree they're brilliant.
We're on the same page.
And they're one of the most, if not the most, in my view, fun ways to play poker, because you get a lot of bang for your buck. You can have a lot of poker for your money. And if you're lucky enough to have a good tournament, you can make an awful lot of profit. $712 is first place today for a $10 entry fee. That's 70 times your initial investment.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
A good lot of fun over 4 hours.
A good lot of fun, and you can have you can go through big roller coaster rides in a tournament. Most people that win tournaments won't have had a smooth ride of just building chips. They'll have lost big hands, won big hands. So yeah, you get all of the drama, all of the excitement. And if you play in this one, you get on the telly.
Ooh, how exciting. You know, I once saw someone get down to the last 20 chips in a multi-table tournament and then went on to be on the final table. Now, how exciting is that?
I'm not saying this to brag, I'm saying this to make the point. I won a tournament once from having one chip.
Did ya?
I did. But then, everyone that's played a lot of poker will have a story similar to that.
All you need is a chip and a chair.
All you need is a chip and a chair. And No Limit Hold'em is a very fast game where things can change very quickly. We will see as we dip into this multi-table tournament throughout the evening, people that are doing well early on may not make our final table. As you said, people that are right down to nothing may make our final table. And so on. Did we? Was it the last time I was on with you? We had a big comeback at the final table.
I think
or am
we
I
did.
dreaming that?
No, I think so. Because we've seen some amazing comebacks. Certainly have.
Yeah.
I like the idea of a big comeback. It's that whole kind of Rocky thing. You know, down and
do
out,
know.
working hard,
Yeah.
trying to get in there, and then, whoa, you get there in the end. If you work hard.
Do you know the story of how Rocky was made?
I do.
It's an
It's
awesome
my
story.
favourite movie ever.
Is it?
It's my #1 top favourite movie ever.
I tell you what, you're a brilliant, brilliant woman.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of girls like Legally Blonde,
Oh,
don't they?
please.
Or, I don't know what else do girls like?
Puppies.
Bambi or something. Is it?
Puppies and flowers.
I think I really understand women. But Rocky is a good favourite
Oh,
film.
it's honestly my all-time
And
ever
unfortunately,
favourite.
because Rocky 8 wasn't very good, the sort of Rocky name's been tarnished a bit, hasn't it? Because the
I
original
know.
Rocky is just a brilliant film.
It is. It's a beautiful story, wonderfully told. It really is.
And you know, I'm sure you know because you're a fan, but you know how he was basically broke, Sylvester Stallone.
Yep.
And
he
they offered
still
him
turned down the money that they offered him.
$250,000.
Yep.
They offered him $250,000. This is absolutely true, guys. If you don't know this story, go and look it up because it's too long to tell now. But one of the most amazing things about Rocky being made is that they offered him $250,000 for the script, but they cast Ryan O'Neal
Yeah.
from Love Story. And Sylvester Stallone was adamant that he was going to play Rocky, and he did, as Kara said, he turned it down even though he was broke. Extraordinary what you can do if you set your mind on something.
See, now that is exactly it. That's the Rocky story. You turn down the easy win,
Yeah.
and you go for what you know you believe in. I like that. And in poker, it applies as well. You keep working towards the end, and you get there. You get down to that final table. You beat the creel in your life.
There you go. You brought it back to poker.
Thanks.
And I thought we wouldn't be able to manage it.
Oh, I can do that.
There you go.
That's my job.
The magic.
Oh, yes, and the magic of television.
And you're going to be playing on Beat the Presenter. For
I
people that
am.
haven't been watching the show for the last week or so. Every night, one of our presenting team will be playing online at 11 o'clock.
This is true.
And then we see the playback at 12 o'clock
That's right.
and analyse it.
Oh, that's my favourite bit. I'm quite looking forward to what you have to say, because the other commentators have been, well, they've been very kind to me.
Wimps.
I know.
I come from the school of tough love, Kara. I know you know
Uh-oh.
that and you respect that.
I respect it, but I might cry. Let's be honest. If you're going to be really tough on me.
Stay tuned, guys. See a grown lady cry on air.
Yeah.
Oh, would I? Would I?
I think you might.
I might laugh a bit, but I'm not going to.
If you laugh and point.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it might not be that bad. We'll see. I've been practicing a bit.
Oh, yeah?
I know how to use the software now. That's always a good place to start. Oh, seriously. This is beginner's night. People are learning from my mistakes.
There you go.
That's my whole point of being.
You've got nothing to complain about. You get to play poker on telly.
I know. I've got the best job in the world.
You have.
And I get to do it with you for 4 hours.
And it's still the best job in the world. What,
Even still.
what are the chances?
Well, that is about enough of our multi-table tournament. I think after this end, we are going to come back and we're going to take a look at something else.
We're going to go back to
But
that, though, aren't we, I suppose?
We are. I was just going to say, we are definitely going to go back to that. We won't be leaving you hanging. You will see what's going on there, and then we'll come back throughout the night, and then as well at the end to see the final table. How very
Cool.
exciting.
Final table is brilliant. It is some of the best poker you can see.
It's true,
exciting.
actually. Yeah.
Very exciting.
Because huge numbers of chips are changing hands, and it's and the blinds are massive, and it's quite tense, and oh, I like it.
There you
I
go.
find it very exciting. Right, now we're going to head to another game and take a look at this. This is a cash game, a little bit different. A little bit different for you, for those of you that are new to poker. We've got a cash game, which is not quite like a tournament. Tell us how it would be different. This is a 25-cent, 50-cent cash game, so that is the amount of the blinds. One of the biggest differences is that the blinds don't go up in a cash game. They remain constant throughout, so your strategy will change from a cash game to a tournament. Is that correct? The expert?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
that
you
is
very
correct. There's the leaderboard.
There it is.
Mine like a laser, haven't I?
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, cash game, you're absolutely right. A different beast.
It is. A horse of a different
A
colour.
horse of a different colour, yeah. 25-cent, 50-cent blinds, as you say, those will stay the same forever. As long as this game exists, that's what the blinds will be. As we were talking about before, in the tournament, the blinds escalate.
And this game pretty much technically could last forever, couldn't it? Because people just dip in and dip out. The same game could be running for the rest of all eternity, with new players coming in, players leaving.
Theoretically, yes, though I think the shortage for oil and man's capacity to be inhumane to man will prevent us from...
Oh, thanks for bringing it down.
What I'm saying
Thanks
is
for bringing it down.
there may be limits on it that are not fully
not
implied by the blind
infinity
structure.
Throughout the universe forever.
This game could go on for a long time, yeah.
Okay, that was my point.
You're absolutely right. People can come and go as they please, pretty much.
Yes, they can, and if they want to sort of recharge their chip stacks or the amounts of money they have in front of them, because those are the actual amounts of money that they're playing with, not just the number of chips that they have.
Yes, that's obviously a key difference. We're now looking at cash dollars.
Ooh, ah. And there's the percentage of hands played. Look at that. I can do it too. Stating the obvious.
Yeah, well, sports commentator, that's what they do, isn't it? Very different takes on the game there. We'll talk about that a little bit during the night, the different ways that you can play. But there you go, is playing half the hands he's dealt. We don't know how many hands he's seeing as how he's playing 8-4, he probably is playing. And it's, Thursday night. Perhaps there's a little bit of party night atmosphere in the air. Perhaps we'll see some slightly wild and crazy play.
We just might. I
understand it's a very fashionable night to go and have some fun.
Or stay in and have some fun.
If you're a young person.
Is it? Is that what the youth of today are doing?
That's what I hear.
With the young kids?
Well, that is a very optimistic bet by Wealthall with his pair of threes. That is a bluff.
Yes, because a pair of threes, not so strong, really, and especially when you've got 3 spades on the board.
And it's a bad bluff because he had 4 opponents, and those cards in the middle, Queen, 10, 9, all of 1 suit, all cards that people would tend to play. You would tend to play Queens, 10s, 9s.
Yeah.
So the chances of nobody calling his bet are very, very slim.
However, it appears... Oh, no. He's going to lose to a set, which really is quite obvious, isn't it?
Well,
that'll teach him.
That'll learn him.
That'll learn him.
Will it, though?
Well, you should never try to bluff more than 2 opponents, isn't that right? Again, this is hard and fast rule, which there really shouldn't be any hard and fast rules.
That's quite a good... I would say that's quite a good rule of thumb.
Okay.
I mean... This is, what you say we should say at the top of the show, which is we'll give you lots of advice and guidelines tonight, but there are no hard and fast rules in poker, which is a bit frustrating.
Yeah,
when
it
you
is
learn
sometimes.
And the reason for that is poker is a situational game. It varies depending on who you're playing against and what the situation is.
Right.
It's not like chess, where there are defined parameters with one course of action being the best. Although chess is a bad example as well, because chess you're playing the man. Although chess is more defined. I feel like I'm in a small cul-de-sac.
You just say this because you don't want to be pinned down to a right or wrong
Well, it's
answer.
true.
I think that's what they say.
All right, here we go. You can pin me down on what you've just said, which is that for a beginning player, what you've just said is an excellent guideline.
Okay.
Which is don't bluff more than 2 opponents. And if possible, most of your bluffs should just be against 1 opponent.
Okay.
Simply because when you bluff, which is to make a bet without a hand, you must be right.
Yeah.
Because if the other person plays on, you're losing.
Yeah.
By the nature of the bluff. So the more people you have against you, the more chance there is of somebody playing on. It's just simple, a simple problem. So yeah, I would say that's a good rule of thumb for people. 2 opponents, no more for a bluff, yeah.
Right, so when you're bluffing, it doesn't only have to do with what you have in your hand, because obviously you are misrepresenting your hand, but what you think your opponent might have as well. If you think that they've got a pair of aces and you're bluffing your way with a pair of 3s, probably not the smartest thing to do, because they're not going to put that down. So one of the key skills that you need to have is to try to figure out what your opponent has in their hands. And you can do that by asking questions in terms of betting and raising and seeing how they respond to that. And that's basically the way you find out, isn't it? How they're reacting, what are they doing with their hand?
I like to talk about, Kara, the 3 levels of poker thinking.
I've heard this, I like this.
Basically, the three levels of thinking are, the first level is, which is where you start, if you're joining us for the first time, or if you're new to poker, this is where you'll be, which is, what have I got?
Yeah.
Where am I? What's happening? Why are people shouting at me for not doing anything? No, that's when I was young. It's what cards have I got? So my cards plus the cards in the middle, do they make 2 pair? Is that any good?
Right.
So that's the first level of poker thinking. The second level of poker thinking, which you need to get into as quickly as possible, exactly as Kara says, is what has my opponent got? So one of the reasons I say poker is a situational game is that what you've got is actually meaningless.
Right.
Because three of a kind, three matching cards, three kings for example, could be a great hand. But if somebody's got a flush, 5 cards of the same suit, it's a losing hand. So it's an awful hand, which is why you can never say anything hard and fast in poker, because three of a kind could be good, could be a loser.
Yeah.
So you need to get into the head of your opponent. What has he got? What are his bets telling me about his hand?
Yeah.
With the cards that are in the middle that are shared, what are the likelihood of his different holdings? And then the third level of poker thinking, which most people start to get into after a few months of playing, is what does my opponent think I've got?
Ah, the zen of poker.
Isn't it? All up there.
I like it.
Because what you're trying to do is make your opponent make mistakes. And you can only do that as if he's got the wrong idea about your cards.
Yeah.
So these are the 3 levels. The third level, if you just started the game, please don't panic or worry about it right now. But you want to get on top of how to play this game, what the basics are, what your hands are, as quickly as you can, so that you can get onto the second level, which is what has my opponent got.
True, and a good way of doing that is by taking a look at one of our new features, which is called What's in the Hole. And this is how you can try to figure out what someone's holding in their hand. Now let's take a look at this hand here. We're going to show you a round of poker, a hand of poker.
Can we write a What's in the Hole jingle?
I wish you would, because I think it desperately needs a bit of music.
Should we do it in the break?
Yes, let's do that. We could hum something. We could hum something. I like it. Right, now you can see that there's one set of cards that are covered over. That's Jose Vader. That's probably a terrible pronunciation of whatever that is. Jose Vidal. I like that. I'm trying to be all... No.
Yeah, I'm speechless.
Oh, yeah. With my fantastic accent of some sort of, I don't know, Mediterranean. Anyways, take a look at the way he's playing, or she's playing, and what do you think they're holding in their hand?
Yeah, so exactly the same as if you were playing in a game, you have to determine what he's got without seeing.
Ah, yes. And you can text HOLE to 62211 and your answer, and that is how you're going to let us know what you think is in the hole.
Cool.
Simple as that.
Good luck.
Right, we're going to go and take a look at is it our multi-table tournament, I think. See how they're getting on there. Right, and there we go. We are at Tragic Trev's table here. Got a few of our regular viewers on board, and there's one seat empty, and that means that actually might get filled up at some point, because as people are being reduced from the tables, as they're losing their chips, tables will be broken down to keep all the tables at a pretty much even level of players, or number of players.
I'd like to say good evening to Trev, who's been very nice to me in the chat box last night.
Really?
Yeah, he was one of the 3.
Uh-oh. With the look on your face.
So, respect to Trev. Send an email tonight and I'll see it gets read out, mate. Seriously. That does not go for the majority of you.
Oh, were they
who
being
I'm
mean
still
to you?
very cross with.
Oh. I wish I could have read that. I really do. I would have enjoyed that.
Now, to put this all in context, a multi-table tournament, the big stack is on just over 7,000.
Okay.
And we'll find out how many players are left for you. We're still in the early stages. Blinds are at 25 and 50. So we hop to another table. Keep me on your toes. Do we recognise anyone here?
No. No, I'm afraid I don't. There are so many people playing on these multi-table tournaments, though. So you're bound to have lots of new faces.
Yeah, and we've had one player, El Pig.
Yes.
Who you know his name, everyone knows his name, is on an absolutely amazing run. He finished either 5th or 6th last night.
Fantastic.
He's reached the final table, I think 4 times since we started the multi-table tournaments a couple of weeks ago.
That is amazing.
And he also won it one night that I was on.
Wow.
So, yeah, extraordinary run, considering that all of these tournaments have 250 plus runners.
Very consistent player. Not a flash in the pan, RL Pig.
That's right.
Well, it'd be interesting to see how he does on the tournament tonight. We'll have to keep our eye on him.
Yes.
Yes. And there we go. You're going to see pretty much every single combination of cards possible on these multi-table tournaments, because if you think about it, there are nearly 300 players, and they're playing away for, what is it, 380,000 chips? Or some such like?
Yes.
Every possible variation.
Uh-huh.
Which is a great teaching tool for you as the expert.
Thanks, Karen.
Oh, you're
Thanks for
welcome.
sorting that out for me.
that is your job. You're here as the expert.
Oh, right.
To tell people what they are
I was thanking
doing
you
right.
for sorting me out the teaching tool.
Ah, right. No, you're welcome. For that as well.
Now, if you just started playing these tournaments, multi-table tournaments, we'd love to hear from you. And also, if you are maybe thinking about playing in one and you're not sure what it's all about, or if you've got some questions about things that are confounding you, do get in touch. 62211 or poker@pokerlightlive.co.uk. Kara and I are literally on the edge of our seats waiting for your emails.
It's very uncomfortable. So do get them in.
You need to eat more cake and then you'll have a more comfortable backside.
Ah, yes. Well, I
Like
did
myself.
have half a donut.
You have, haven't you? And it's one of them big calorie ones.
Oh, it's really, yeah, it's very nice. I got you one as well, though.
See? You're just unbeatable.
I am. I like Rocky, and I bought you a donut.
That's right. None of my other co-hosts have anything like as much to recommend them.
No.
Some of them have really obvious negatives.
You're such a ray of sunshine. You really are.
No, I love them all.
Dearly.
Yes, I do.
Wow.
I'm on record as saying that.
Hey, look, there's an ace-king. Difficult hand to play.
It is a difficult hand to play, yeah. But one of the stronger hands you can be dealt. Let's see how Nap Hands wants to play it. He decides not to raise, interestingly. And picks up a dream flop. 2 pair on the flop. Well, he's slow playing it, by which I mean he's pretending he's weak. He's just checked. Is he going to check raise? No, he's just going to call. Now he puts in a tiny bet. It's such a good hand. You'd think he'd try and win a bit more by betting a bit more, but... And this is something that we see. This is something for beginners and newer players to get into their heads very quickly. Really common fault that we see in poker, that we see on the show, is that people, when they have a strong hand, they wait to put money in till the end.
But then it's obvious to the people who they're playing against that they've got a big hand,
It
isn't it?
can be, yeah. The real problem with it is that people are much less likely to pay you once all the cards are out.
Of course.
They're much more likely to call your bets when they've got a chance to improve their hand. So you need to invest money when you've got a good hand. What happens is beginning players, they wait so long, then they get a big hand like that, 2 pair on the flop, and they get nervous that the other players won't pay them anything. Well, if your opponent's got nothing, you're not going to get any money out of him anyway. So give yourself a chance to get paid by betting your good hands, and remember that people are more likely to put money in the pot when they can still improve than they are when all the cards are out. It really is something that we see a lot of players get wrong, especially beginning players.
Okay.
I think it's a bit counterintuitive, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Do you think it is the same for cash games? Because this is tournament play, obviously, which is a bit different.
I think until you start playing at a higher level, most of the time, and even actually at a high level, most of the time, just playing in a straightforward fashion is the right thing to do. If you've got a good hand, bet it. And you think of poker as a business. When you've got when you see something good to invest in, you invest in it. You don't wait until it's got less good. If you've got a good hand, that's when you want to put money in the middle.
Okay.
Straightforward play is the way to go most of the time. It's not
Nice
glamorous,
and straightforward.
but it's still exciting because it gets you money.
Which is always a good thing.
But in poker,
Yes, as
very
in
good
life.
thing.
But
As in life.
tournament poker is only half the story, the other half being cash games. And we're going to go straight back to our 25, 50 cent cash game and see how they're doing there. And there it is. Back to our 25, 50 cent cash game. It's a good one for the beginners to be watching.
Yeah, obviously a lot of our newer players will be playing it around this level, you would have thought.
Yep.
And as I quite often say on the show, in the poker world, there are enormous poker games. There are poker games where the blinds before you get the cards are $10,000 and $20,000.
Oh,
Crazy.
that makes me feel ill just thinking about it.
Absolutely.
Might have been the donut though.
Quite. Donuts plus $20,000 without cards.
Oof.
Yeah. But obviously, that's the poker world. In the real world, even in this game, which is obviously a relatively small game, you can win or lose a couple of $100 pretty quickly, and that's not an insignificant amount of money.
No.
So,
really isn't.
yeah, we give the usual warning to be comfortable with the money you're playing with. Be comfortable that you can lose it, and it doesn't make a big difference to you.
Yeah, if you're playing this for fun, because it is a game, you have to remember that poker is a game as well. Very few people actually take it to the level where they're playing professionally.
That's right, big hand here with 2-pair against a straight. And Geordie moved all in with that 2-pair and is not going to be happy with the result.
Ouch. So, Geordie can do what now? He can go out and recharge his stack.
Go out, throw himself off the third floor balcony. No, or just kick the cat, keep it sensible. He can, yeah, he can go and get more money. Yes. Yeah. And please don't kick the cat. That was a joke.
Yeah, we'd never advocate the kicking of cats.
Kick your girlfriend. No, oh, that's also bad. Also a joke. Don't kick anything except yourself mentally.
Right.
Or yourself physically. That might work. Motivationally.
Difficult to do, but possible.
Yeah,
well, you've just done it, so you've proved it's true.
It hurts actually, so it does work.
Well, he did come back. He went out and got $50 more, and he's come back.
Yes, he can recharge. And just to clarify what Kara's getting at, if that's a tournament, he can't do that. He's gone. But cash game, yes, you can do that.
Thanks for clarifying what I was getting at there.
No, well, what it is...
Was I being unclear?
No, you weren't being unclear at all. I'm just a very simple man.
What are you trying to say?
Trying to say...
Am I talking over your head?
You're vague.
Vague.
No, there's a mystique about you is what I'm saying. Help. Yeah. Anyway, pair of kings for Big Mint.
So that's how you get you to talk about poker.
Yeah, get me in a sticky situation. I'm going to get my donut now, am I? After that.
Well, it'll rustle too much.
Oh, well, I'm saying you won't let me have it because I've been rude. Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm eating that one myself. Nice try.
Well, lovely situation for the kings. He's sitting there with the second best hand you can pick up, and 3 players have already called a raise. A re-raise from the big blind. If you're in a poker game and you see someone re-raise from the big blind, that is very strong. Yeah. Because the big blind is not a position where you're not in a good position. You're going to be playing early on for most of the rest of the bets, rest of the streets, excuse me. So the other players should be really worried, and Big Mint will now be cursing because the ace has come down, and he knows, or he should know, that the chances of there not being an ace out there with 2 people calling re-raise are very slim. And I think he's done the right thing. I think he should bet, because you don't want to give up on the hand. It's possible that one player's got jacks and one player's got queens, but now you've been called, you now are pretty sure you're lost, so you're done with it. In my opinion, you should be done with the kings now. Yeah. And you should just check.
You don't think you could push Geordie off this?
Well, we know he's got A7, which is not the best ace he could have. Yeah. But if you're sitting there in Big Mint's shoes and he's called your bet on the flop after you've re-raised before the flop and an ace has come down, it doesn't look like he's going to be pushed off it, does it? No, that's true. Sorry, you were just being a bit vague. I wanted a bit of clarification. No, well, that will happen a lot during the night. It's when you need clarification on the clarification that I know that I'm in trouble. I'm sorry, what? Just work it through. All right? That actually made perfect sense. So I'm not here to justify... Okay. Let's not fight, Kara. It started so well. It started so well. You're like Rocky and everything. I know. I love Rocky. They're making a new one, aren't they? New Rocky. I know. You're not optimistic? No, how could you be optimistic? The first 2 were brilliant. Yeah. I didn't even mind the 3rd one. In fact, I love all the Rockies just because it's Rocky. But you have to admit, they just get more and more rubbish. They do get more and more rubbish. I mean, I love them, but they do get more and more rubbish. It's very sad. I will always have a soft spot for Clubber Lang. Clubber Lang. Possibly Mr. T's finest character. Yes, he plays Mr. T. Well, you say to the untrained eye, maybe, Kara. Ah, the nuances. The nuances of his performance. I see. Very different to Bad Attitude Baracus. True. He plays angry young man very well. He actually released a rapper's BA. That was, yeah, he did, yeah. It was as bad as it sounds.
Wow. So when are we going to release a single? We're waiting for next Christmas.
The Poker Night
Christmas
Live.
#1.
Poker Night Live 2-step.
Yeah.
I raise with aces, 1-2 step. Kings for Emu.
Yeah, okay.
Let's never speak of that again.
You were going to give it a go there. The look of fear on your face.
Yeah, no, we've got to write a jingle, haven't we, for What's in the Hole?
Oh, God. Yeah. Because it needs some music, it really does.
So, the game.
Yes, the poker game, in fact. The poker game it is. Right. And you can see that Geordie, having lost his stack before, has come back with his 50 and has added another 10. So well done, Geordie. Fighting his way back. Obviously not having gone on tilt, because that is a danger if you put all your money up against something, you think that you're in there with a chance, and then you lose all your money.
Well,
you might just go on tilt.
He may still be on tilt, we don't know. Look at this dream flop for Gulo.
Oh my goodness.
Literally flopped to full house. The odds against that are precisely massive. It's very unlikely. And Geordie's still betting.
Oh,
and little does he know.
Oh, bless.
Well, this is one of those situations where Gulo should put in a decent raise. It's not too bad. And he doesn't get paid. He was never going to get paid by Geordie, but he doesn't know that. And that's what we were talking about before. You've got to give yourself an opportunity to make money.
Yeah. Build up the story.
Yes. Johan Harren, who we know is a good player, because we've seen him play a lot of times, varying his play by raising with Queen 9 suited. That's not normally a hand that he'd do that with. But he's just trying to keep the other players off balance.
Yep. I've seen him play some amazing poker. We got down to the last, I think 3 on a cash table at the end of the evening last week, actually. And he was one of them, and the other 2, I forget who they were. It might have been El Pig again as well. All 3 of them incredibly tight. All 3 of them in a 25-cent, 50-cent cash game, I think, with stacks of like 200. So obviously they come in with their 50 and then just built it up incredibly, and everyone else had kind of fallen by the wayside.
Right.
And they just sort of, the dealer button just kept going around, and they sort of just picked at each other. It was quite interesting to watch.
Cool.
Like 3 tigers circling each other.
Cool.
In an arena.
Nice.
Thanks.
Nice analogy.
Thank you very much. I paint pictures with words.
Sometimes. Johan Harren is a good player, and he's certainly got the game to play at higher limits than he does. That's the thing about poker, it is dictated by money.
Is it?
It is. It's not like running, where if you're the fastest, you go to the Olympics.
True.
It's not like that, I'm afraid.
No.
Ace King for big mint, and up against a pair of 10s. Now, a pair of 10s is an oft overplayed hand.
I've done it myself.
In the world of poker. Well, the problem with it is, that's always going to happen on the flop. The vast majority of times you're going to have at least one overcard on the flop. And the 10s then become very difficult. And Gulo makes the right decision on this occasion. He folds. Emu wants to play 10-9. Lovely flop for SG145. He's tried the check. He now wants to bet. And Emu is bluffing at him. And he's hit his unlikely straight draw. So this could be very interesting on the river. We could see a lot of money change hands here. Emu raises, and SG145 just calls. Did well not to put any more money in than that. He had 3 of a kind, but he was beaten by a straight. And all those things we were talking about earlier, 3 of a kind can be great, can be a loser. And the thing about poker is, if you lose by a pip, you've lost. You get no fraction of the money. You don't get any of the money.
Pip to the post.
If you've got 4 jacks and somebody else has got 4 queens, you might as well have ace high. You've lost. A loss is a loss. So it is a vicious game in that sense. Ace 10 for SG 145. Flush draw for Emo Emu. And he makes a nice little, what we call, Kara, semi-bluff.
Ah, yes, I know this one.
Tell us what a semi-bluff is. I'm putting you under the spotlight.
Okay, a semi-bluff is when you're not so much bluffing because you have nothing in your hand, but you're bluffing because you have a draw to something. So if, at the moment that you're making the raise, or the bet, you actually don't have a winning hand. You probably don't have the best hand out there, but you might draw to it. Am I right?
She's right.
Thank you very much.
It's a hand that could become the best hand.
A semi-bluff.
Why would you do it?
Why would I do it? Because I want to stop anyone else from actually drawing to a better hand than I've got. So if I can push them off before another card comes down, then I win. Or if I can entice them to bet into the pot and build it up, and then I still draw and pick up my card and win the hand, I win that way as well. Did I lose it a bit there?
No,
it's just
a little bit.
Your face
no, I'm just trying to chunk through what you're saying. The first bit I loved. I think that was on the money.
Okay.
The second bit was all right.
And then the third bit was
the main thing is that you are you're giving yourself a chance to win the pot, which is what we're always trying to do. You always want to be the aggressor in poker,
right? Yes.
Because of the basics of the game, which is if you make a bet and nobody else equals that bet, you win. Doesn't matter what cards you have. So that leads itself to an aggressive style.
Yeah.
So it tends to be, not universally, but it tends to be good players or aggressive players.
Yeah. So that's the first way that you can win.
That's
which is
the first way that you can win.
Bit of my answer.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. The reason that you'd semi-bluff is that you are giving yourself a chance to win immediately.
Yep.
If you are called, you have another chance to win, which is you could hit your hand. So it's the 2 ways to win, and it's something that beginning players don't do. Intermediate players do a bit, but not enough, and very good players do a lot. It's also called, the vernacular for it is called betting on the come, which means you're betting with cards to come.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, it's something that the better a player you are, the more you do it. People, very good players will do things like raise on the come and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's not funny. Stop making this beautiful game a subject of ridicule and filth.
Back to the game, come on. Right, let's take a look at the game. You know, my mum is watching.
Mine might be watching. Hello, Sue. I love you.
Hello, Teresa. Love you too.
Thanks for boarding me. And all the subsequent looking after.
Yeah. Apparently it costs like £18,000, or is it £80,000 between when you're born and when you turn 18 and you're no longer your parents' responsibility for all kinds of the entire...
There must be more than that.
I think it is 80,000. I used to be a geography teacher, and I do believe that was the number that we used from the textbooks.
You used to be a geography teacher?
Yeah.
What, and you taught people how much it costs to bring up babies?
That's human geography.
In Sweden or something?
Sometimes. Sometimes in Sweden.
All right.
That's human geography.
You were there, I wasn't, that's fair.
You know, population pyramids and whatnot. That's very geographical, don't laugh.
Top pair for Lock Ryan. And his bet with top pair is going to win him the pot. It's that simple. Sometimes poker is an easy game.
Yeah, sometimes it's not.
What's difficult is if you have top pair and you make a bet and somebody raises. That's when poker is a difficult game. One of the harder situations, actually. It's a situation that happens all the time, and it's still difficult.
What would you do in that situation?
The really frustrating answer is it depends.
It depends.
Depends what game I'm...
Never commit yourself.
Well, it depends what game I'm playing in and who's made the raise and how many other opponents there are.
Typical.
And I do have a fear of commitment, yeah.
So
but
male.
I've been hurt in the past. Top pair for Emu. Let's see if he gets raised. Hadn't done some hurting. He doesn't, and top pair wins again. The problem with top pair is that it's a good hand, but beatable.
Yes.
And let's get more clarified than the vagueness that is it depends.
Okay, yes, let's do that.
You need to consider certain factors, and these factors are usually the same, and a professional player will consider these factors very, very quickly and almost as second nature. As a beginner, you need to teach yourself to think about these different things. So the things that you need to think about are the texture of the flop. So for example, not all top pairs are equal. Let's say you have a pair of kings and the flop is king, 8, 2, 3 different suits.
Right.
Then your pair of kings is very strong. That is a very strong top pair because it's very unlikely you're losing. Because if you think about how someone could beat you, it's really unlikely they're going to have 2 pair. Because they'd have to have king 8 in their hand or 8, 2 or something like that. There are no straights, there are no flush possibilities. So you're only really scared of like 3 8s or something like that. If you run into that, you know, that's tough luck.
That's poker,
But that's a very strong top pair. Let's say completely different. Let's say the flop was 10, 9, 8, and 2 of the cards were the same suit, so say 2 hearts, and you had a pair of 10s. Well, then your pair of 10s is very weak because it's very, very beatable. Players will play cards like 10, 9, 9, 8, 10, 8. They could have a straight, they could have a straight draw, a flush draw, they could have an overpair, a pair of jacks in their hand, a pair of queens in their hand. So clearly that top pair is not as strong. So texture of the flop is a big thing to consider. The next thing to consider is the number of opponents. The more opponents there are, the weaker your top pair is, because the greater the chance of somebody...
a better hand being out there.
That's right. The next thing you need to consider is your position. The later position you're in, the better, because going last is an advantage. You know what everyone's going to do. If you go first and you bet out, somebody could raise you as a bluff.
Right.
Because they're behind you, and it's very difficult to know if you're winning or not. So your position is a factor. And then there are other intangible factors, like the game you're playing in, the opponents that you're playing in that hand, what their view is of you, your history between the two of you. So there are lots of things that you need to think about, and that's why I can't say to you, here's what I do with top pair, because it really does depend on all those different things. And that may seem overwhelming, but these are all things that, provided you start thinking about them early on in your poker lifetime, you will get familiar with them very quickly.
Okay, you get a handle on them.
You will get a handle on them, yeah. Don't worry, Cara. We're there for you. But I expect you to have all that done and dusted by the time you play in the tournament in 10 minutes.
Oh my goodness, in 10 minutes?
Beat the presenter.
Oh yeah, and watch people try to beat me at poker.
If you do play Cara tonight, bear in mind she is going to cash tonight, because 7th on a first go, 5th on a second go.
I really would like to.
It's not pressure, it's like giving you goals.
Yes. It is my goal, because I do, but you know what, I enjoy it so much anyways, I don't care. I just want to stay in as long as I can, because I enjoy it. I find it really fun.
Don't tell them that. They'll know you're going to play tight. They'll start stealing your blinds.
Because that's not worked for me in the past. So maybe I'm going to mix it up, but maybe I'm not. See what I'm doing there? See what I'm doing? See?
Who knows?
See? Oh, don't.
Who knows?
Don't. And I'm going to get them to turn my microphone down so that people can't hear me sighing and whatnot, which apparently I do when I have a bad hand.
Oh dear. Well, Craven will be slightly sighing. He's got a full house, 4s and 8s, but no one to play with. Always a little bit frustrating.
So he's taking his ball and he's going home.
Taking his little pot.
Yes. Oh. Right, so do you have any advice for me starting my tournament very, very shortly?
Yeah, don't pay attention to the big bullies and unpleasant people in the chat box.
Okay.
Ignore them.
I'm going to chat a lot less this time.
Very good. You need to keep your eyes on the prize, or you need to focus on a big pile of cash in your mind.
Okay.
Go for the gold.
Okay.
Accept nothing less than first.
I feel like Rocky.
Yeah, that's it. Eye of the tiger. That's what you need.
Eye of the tiger.
If you're going to play with her, be afraid. Eye of the tiger.
Be very afraid. You know what? I feel very much in the zone now.
Strong.
I do. I feel quite strong.
Cool.
Right then, we're going to go and see some emails from our viewers. They've got questions for you, our poker guru, our demigod, for the evening.
Focus.
Right?
Absolutely.
You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Right, let's take a look at that email. Now, this is from Steve. Steve says, Hi. Anyways, just a thank you to Poker Night Live. You're welcome. I've been playing poker for about 2 years now and have developed an overall winning style for single table tournaments. Playing up to and including the $10 tables. However, I was finding that consistently I was hitting the money positions, but when doing so, was in third place, short stacked. Inevitably, as the blinds then increased, I was being forced into all-in bets that I wasn't particularly happy with. In other words, very tight throughout, relying mainly on others' mistakes to get into the money. Then the epiphany. I watched Cass the other night play 4-7 suited early on in the game from a late position. Sorry. And suddenly the penny dropped. Since then, I've played looser in those first 2 or 3 stages before tightening up for the middle game. I know it's only a short time ago, and short-term results should be treated with suspicion, but I have noticed an immediate improvement in my position in terms of chip stacks later on, and from there, the number of tourneys I've won. And there doesn't seem to be a downside because the number of chips I'm committing to see a few flops early isn't adversely affecting me too much, even when I lose those early hands. So, cheers. I've been off sick for a couple of weeks, but you've made it a very profitable time. Regards from Steve. Thank you, Steve. Now, I'm going to throw this question over to you, Nick.
Thanks, Cara. I'm a bit worried Steve hasn't put his proper name there, because if he's been off sick, how sick are you? You know, he can play poker, surely he can do something with a spreadsheet. Well, I'm
Don't
just
be getting him
saying.
into trouble.
What was the question?
Well, basically, he's just said he has a great new strategy for single table tournaments.
Yes. Well, there's a lot in this one, Steve. It's a good email. A lot of different points of discussion. Basically, it comes down to this with tournaments. There are 2 conflicting influences. One is to survive. So you need to, if you're the last person that survives, the last person with chips, you win. Yahtzee. It's that simple. But because the blinds continually escalate, you can't just sit there and survive. You have to accumulate chips. I know this is all very obvious, but we need to understand what's at the heart of this strategic discussion, and that is these 2 conflicting influences. To get chips, you need to put chips in jeopardy, but when you put chips in jeopardy, you compromise your survival. So it's a fine line to walk. Now, which end of that spectrum, from surviving through to risking chips to gain chips, your play is at, should depend on the structure of the tournament and where you are in a tournament. In a single table tournament, the structure tends to be fast. The ones we show on Poker Night Live, they're all action. They're very, very fast. And what that means is the blinds are an immediate or close to immediate threat to your stack. So on our little sliding spectrum, the blinds go out quickly, so you must accumulate chips. Now, there are contrasting thoughts on this. For example, some of our experts, like James Browning, for example, I think lean more towards the survivalist end of things. You can see that he's a very rugged man, a man that enjoys bivouacs and killing beavers with his bare hands. So he's more of a survivalist, whereas, you know what I'm saying? No. You can see that in James. Whereas there are more flamboyant people that sort of live fast and die young, like Casper, for example. You can see that about him. He's lived fast and will be dying young soon, I'm sure.
Nice, very nice. I'm glad he's glad to hear that, I'm sure.
Yeah. There are two different camps on this, and some of the survivalists say that you shouldn't play any hands except for big pairs early on in a single table tournament. I'm with Casper and also Dr. Tom on this, and we believe that what Steve said is right, in that you should loosen up early on. And the reason for that, apart from the escalating blinds, meaning you need to accumulate chips to survive the later levels, are the implied odds that exist in any tournament situation. And that is, say, the first level of a single table tournament, it will cost you 20 out of 1,000 chips to see a flop if it's unraised. So if you're in a late position, it's unraised, there's obviously massive value in putting in 20 chips, because if you hit a hand and somebody else hits a slightly worse hand, you could potentially bust them and win 1,000 chips. So I'm fully in alignment with what Steve's saying on the change he's made in his game, which is to risk a little bit early on to win a lot, because you do need to accumulate those chips. The blinds go up very, very fast, and it's not good enough just to sit there and survive for the first few levels. But there is a counter-argument, and somebody like James will happily put it for you. And this, of course, applies to us when we play in the tournaments, Cara.
Yes.
There's 2 ways to go on it. You can play tight early on and just play your big hands, or you can be a little bit looser. But don't take the idea too far, only in the first couple of levels.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Keep all those things in mind that I said there.
Yes.
Because you were listening to all of them.
I was, avidly.
Avidly. You were the one.
I listened so much.
Bless you.
Thank you very much for that email then, Steve, and we'll get to some more later.
Cool. Hello and welcome back to Poker Night Live. It's Thursday night, And that means all you've got to do is get through Friday. Now, when I used to have a proper job and be a responsible citizen, Friday was basically a day off. I'm sure it's the same for you too, so stay with us till 2 a.m. That's my game plan, innit? Kara's trying to get into a tournament.
Sorry.
If you're online, please let her.
I know.
You know, she's basically 1,000 chips worth of fun, and she can't play.
I'm trying. I'm clicking non-stop. And the poor game, they can't start until, really.
I think you're just going to break the equipment if you...
I know.
Yeah.
I was trying, though. It wasn't me just not knowing how to work the system there. I was trying.
For those of you just finding us for the first time or joining us, you don't know what's going on, Kara's going to be playing online in our feature called Beat the Presenter. And
I got in, just so you know.
High
I got
five
in.
me.
Thank you.
Nice, nice
thank
action.
goodness for that.
Kara is playing. Thank you to whoever gave up their seat.
Thank you so much.
And thanks to lots of you on there, particularly people like Balrog who were trying to get it done for us. So now Kara's going to play in a one-table tournament, which is going to last about half an hour, 40 minutes when she wins it. And then at 12 o'clock, we will look at that tournament in playback. We'll be able to see all the cards. We'll be able to analyse how brilliantly she did. Or didn't do. We'll find out. If you're in that tournament, please get in touch. If you've got any questions at all, get in touch with the show. 62211 poker@pokernightllive.co.uk. You're pleased, aren't you?
I am. I'm very pleased. I'm very excited that I'm in the tournament now.
Yeah. And what's your eye on?
What's my eye on?
Yes.
The prize.
Eyes on the prize.
Eye of the tiger.
Eye of the
tiger.
An eye of the tiger on a prize. Which probably be like
Mixed
be like a
metaphors.
gazelle or something, wouldn't it? A tiger's prize. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at what's in the hole. I mean, we can't because that's the point. You can't see what's there. But let's have a look at it anyway. You'd have had 2 pair if you played that.
Oh, don't be mean.
Jose Vidor. I've been joined by some light lounge music.
Oh, wow, that's quite funny.
Don't come back to the studio, lads, because I am slowly taking off my clothes.
Oh my God.
Now, if you haven't played What's in the Hole before, it couldn't be simpler. Simply guess what's in the hole. There are 2 question marks there, and underneath them are 2 playing cards. We need you to use your hand reading skills and your poker abilities to tell us what is in the hole. It couldn't be simpler or more fun to enter. Simply text the word hole, your name, and your answer. 62211, 62211. And we're back. If you want to play that game, fire at will. Normal text number, 62211. Also the text number if you want to get in touch. And remember, you can ask us anything. This is Beginner's Night, which is licensed to ask us as silly a question as you like. If you've only played poker a couple of times, you don't know what's going on, you've got questions, we're happy to take them, however basic they are. poker@pokernightllive.co.uk. Ask us anything you like. We would love to hear from you. And remember that the show is dictated by you. We'll talk about whatever you ask us. 0906 200 7080 is the phone number if you'd like to ring in and hear your voice on the telly. You get to leave a message with your question or comment, and we'll play it out for the watching Poker Nation to listen to and enjoy. Are you still in?
I am. I'm still in. Thank you very much. And they say hello.
What? Hello.
What's
brilliant is you've got your purse out. It's just like, just in case you run out of chips, you can. Is that what you're doing?
Basic rookie mistake. That's not how it works.
It's not how it works. And the money doesn't come out either when you win.
Darn.
I know.
I don't actually make any money on this, but it's all about the fun.
That's all about the fun.
It is.
Guys, we're going to go to a sit and go while Kara plays, and you can enjoy that with me while Kara plays. Let's have a look. So this is our $10 sit and go. Hoofy, our regular, has got a pair of kings in his favourite seat, and we've also got some other favourites. Golden Jaguar there, he's become a favourite of late. Hoofy, you won't want to see that ace on the flop, but it's there anyway.
Sorry, but he's on my table as well.
He's multi-tabling.
He is, Golden Jaguar.
You cheeky little big cat. Don't know where that's going.
I suppose if my eye's on the gazelle, I could just as well be on the Golden Jaguar.
Couldn't it? It's all part of the
the metaphor,
the animal stew.
the mixed metaphor that we're building there.
Yeah. You want to fold there, seriously. Well played.
Thanks. You're not allowed to help me, and I was going to anyway.
Not that much help, is it? Hoofy gets check raised, and he had to bet out, having raised pre-flop, really, even though he hated seeing that ace. He's only got one opponent there, so as we were talking about before, if you've got one opponent, you should be even more aggressive. Obviously, only the one player to get rid of. Sadly for him, Miss Vota, which is probably rude in some language or other, had the ace. Four players in this pot. And I don't think we've had a one-table tournament. So have we had a one-table tournament tonight, Cara?
I don't think we've seen one yet.
We haven't,
no,
have we?
We've just been looking at cash games now.
So I should brief you on the concept, just in case you're new to the show, or you haven't been on Planet Poker before. 8 players fighting for the cash. This is a $10 one-table tournament. So they've all paid $10, plus a nominal fee to the website for hosting the game. And they all get the same number of chips, which I think is 1,200. No, it's 1,000. Really, I'm terrible at this. I've only been doing it for 8 months, so you can understand why. They all get 1,000 chips, and they play no limit hold'em. When they run out of chips, they're out the tournament, and at the end, one player will have them all. Now, the last 3 players that remain standing share out the prize pool. The first 5 to go leave with nothing. And this is exactly the same tournament that our own Ms. Cara Scott is playing in right now, live on the internet. Still in?
I am.
Come
still
on.
in. What a question.
That's the only question. Golden Jaguar makes the nut flush. And he's trying to figure out how much to bet. 99.99 apparently. Classic. He's not going to get a call though. These guys are have nothing to pay him with. Now the blinds in this single table tournament are very fast, and they will go up every 10 hands. So if you do play in one of these, you need to be aware of that. You can't sit around, in my opinion, and wait for the best hands. You've got to take some little chances, not reckless, but little chances to accumulate chips. And our own Dr. Tom has done some very in-depth poker statistical research recently, he tells me. And he's discovered that having chips in these one-table tournaments with these fast structures is far more important than survival in terms of your tournament equity. Now, you told me you weren't going to chat as much, and all I can hear is the pitter-pat of keys.
I know.
That's not in the zone, is it?
No, you're right.
Come on.
Okay, I'm going to stop chatting so much now. But they're being really nice to me. I get sucked
Are
into
they?
it. Well, yeah.
How do you make that happen?
Well, they just are being really nice to me.
It's because you're a lady, isn't it?
Well, maybe, because there's a lot of ladies watching as well, observing,
yeah?
and they're being very
welcome.
friendly and very helpful.
Welcome.
Which I appreciate, but you're right, I need to concentrate. So, okay, if I miss out on the chatting,
I just got none of that.
I apologise.
I just got pure visceral hatred.
Did you? I can't imagine why.
Well, I wish you'd tell me. You know, it hurts inside, Cara, it doesn't show outside. But aces for Snaky. And Geordie's going to throw his hand away now. No, he's not. Geordie's going to call to make me look silly. Well, to actually make him look silly, because that's a stupid call. No point. I know he's got chips, I know he can afford to do it, but he's got an awful hand, and he loses. Snaky ends up making a nut flush.
Don't flick my forehead, I'm trying to concentrate.
And there's our leaderboard.
Where's the slider thing? So that I...
Stop giving it away. Cara's playing her first pot, so you can imagine the levels of panic that are happening next to me. Go Cara, go Cara.
Stop it.
Geordie's going to take the blinds on this one. And the blinds go up, 40 and 80 now. And ace-10 looks like the only real hand here. Hoofy, one of our better one-table tournament players. We see him play quite a lot. And he's the short stack here, but he won't be panicking yet with the blinds at 40 and 80. Snaky with the ace-10 just calls, interestingly enough. I think a raise would have been good there.
Thank you very much.
Karen, nobody knows what you're saying thank you to.
I've just went ahead. I'm feeling quite good about
What
that.
happened, Karen?
I just went ahead.
Look at it, you can actually feel the glow. It's like ready brick.
I enjoyed that.
Stop the tournament right there.
Oh.
You should win. You're winning, aren't you? Nearly.
Nearly.
Good stuff. Oh, you're so proud when you make the money. I'm actually going to cry a little bit.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Be like the end of the railway children here, I tell you. Golden Joke. Do you know what? They put the railway children on a few months ago, right? I came back into the house, railway children was on. No warning. They put nothing on screen. They didn't put anything. And then, you know, I mean, I'm a grown man. I like a steak. I like a fight. But if you don't cry when she says, "Daddy, my daddy," basically you're dead. That's my contention.
Really?
Oh,
you feel strongly
mate,
about this?
I don't feel strongly about it. It's just, I cry like a baby.
Oh.
I know. I think the boys out there know what I'm saying. It's mainly because it's Jenny Agutter. There's the percentage of hands played. For those of you that love it.
Oh. Can I say a bit of a hello to someone?
Yeah, you can totally give shouts out.
Okay, I want to give a shout out to Poker Manager because apparently he emailed in ages ago and nobody gave him a shout out. So, hello, Poker
Do
Manager.
this, go. Yeah, that was better. Yeah, more street, if anything. Yeah.
Get in.
Taking it downtown. Or
I'm
just,
trying,
just
I'm
being,
trying.
Just being a bit square. It's a fine line. You still in?
I am still in.
Nobody's gone out yet, though.
No, but, you know, that's okay.
That's okay. Early
That's okay.
days.
I've not gone
Early
out yet,
days.
so that's all right.
Yeah, yeah. You're calm, you're in control.
Right. Just trying to check here what is going on.
Miss Votavova. Now, Snakey's got options here. He decides to call. I think a re-raise was the option there. Could have actually pushed all in. But decided against it. The problem with Ace-Jack is it's very hard to find a flop that you like. And now what's his game plan? He's flat called. And now he's gone all in. Well, he's right. I mean, he has got the best hand. I don't know how Mrs. Votavova can call there with nothing. Very strange play. Well, Snakey won a big pot there, but I didn't like the way he played that. I didn't like the way either of them played that hand. The wrong moves at the wrong time. Geordie's got a pair of queens on the button and will be loving that little raise from WSOP. I think we could see Mrs. Votavova go all in here. Not many chips left. Half decent hand. Yeah, in they go. And Geordie probably trying to decide whether to re-raise or just flat call. Decides to re-raise, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that with queens because he wants it heads up. He doesn't want WSOP in there as well. It's not really a strong enough hand to smooth call and try and get more action. He'll be quite happy with the heads up. He'll be happy with the ace-jack. He won't be happy with the ace on the flop. That's unfortunate. So the blinds are at 40, 80, and still early days in our tournament. What are your blinds at, Cara?
20 and 40. Thank you for asking.
Even earlier?
Yeah, even earlier, although one person has gone out already, so...
So you're seventh?
Well, I'm
minimum,
not seventh.
minimum.
Yeah, seventh minimum.
But your eyes aren't on
you.
seventh, are they?
And no, they're not. They're on the prize.
They're on the prize.
They're on the top
First
prize.
first place finisher.
I'm going for it.
Too
and
right.
I've stopped chatting quite so much.
Good, good.
They're asking all kinds of questions about who's seeing who and who might be dating whom on the show and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's like a soap opera, but I'm not getting drawn in.
Can you just make sure they know I'm available? I'm 100% bookable.
They're going to be so excited by that.
Even the boys will be excited by that. Not available to that, but open mind. I'm at one with the poker community in many ways. And WSOP raises sly size big blind. And well, WSOP might go broke here because he might try and force this through. No, he doesn't. He checks, and that's a very, very good move. He wants to throw it away now. He tried to steal the big blind. It went wrong. He accepts that. That's a good play. Down to 7 players. Now we've got our man in the field tonight, who is one of our own, one of our experts, Mr. James Browning. Are you with us, James?
I'm with you, Nick. I'm
Hello.
standing outside the Concord Card Casino in the freezing cold because it's quieter for you.
Thank you, James. Thanks for literally freezing
It's bloody
parts of your
freezing.
limbs. Well, you know, we all make sacrifices for this show.
Exactly.
And you get paid extra for standing out in the cold.
I can give you the rundown. This is a €2,000 tournament. It's for the Austrian Championships.
Serious business.
There were 234 runners.
Yeah.
We're now down to 110. We started off with 10,000 chips, and it's a very good structured tournament. It's a 4-day tournament.
This is the World Series of Poker. This is the World
Yes.
Series of Poker warm-up tournament, isn't it?
In a way, yes. It used to be called that. They're not allowed to call that anymore, apparently.
No, so I
found that out today. The levels, Nick, are 1.5 hours.
That's beautiful. And are you in?
I'm still in, Nick.
Come on, Mr. Browning.
Well
I've got
done.
the average chips is 21,740,
Yeah.
and Mr. Browning's got 22,000.
Go on, JB, you
And we're down
mammoth
to-
poker guru.
Fantastic.
There were 234 players. We're down to 110.
Well, that's excellent, mate. And how's your table? Do you have a good seat or a difficult seat? Or
I've got this one's not so bad. I've moved tables quite a lot. The most interesting thing, perhaps, for some of our viewers is early on I had a couple of decisions to make, which were painful at the time, but I'm glad I made them. I'd had a situation where someone had raised up to 800, quite early stages. I re-raised because I thought he was just making a little, not so strong really, and I re-raised to 2,400 with Ace King. And I got re-raised to 6,000, and I put it down. But it's always annoying to have to put down after you've just done a re-raise. But,
yeah, so that obviously your thinking there is, as we say often, you don't want to go broke early in the tournament unless you've got a good reason, do you? And
Exactly.
certainly Ace King is not a good enough reason.
Nick, it's a third raise anyway, so there's a good chance it could be aces and kings anyway.
Yeah.
The guy, he was an Oriental guy who lives in Austria. Later, he played an awful lot of hands, which sort of probably upset me more when I thought maybe he didn't have so much. But even so, listen, I'm sure he had at least a pair. And I don't need to be in a slight underdog in that situation because there's a lot of time left in the tournament.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we could all learn from that, is that the principle is there's a long way to go. I still had loads of play. Forget about the fact to leave a few chips behind. Wait for a better situation for your chips.
Yeah, that is an absolutely critical point. And tell us a little bit, because many of our viewers, and me included, haven't had the opportunity to play in Vienna. Is it exotic, beautiful,
it's freezing.
Haunting,
it's
freezing, yeah.
No, the card room here is fantastic. It's just purely a card room. As I said, there's hundreds of people here because as well as the 234 people playing this tournament, there's hundreds of people playing cash games at the same time.
Right.
There's lots of people here. TK, he's still in apparently. I think he's got about 10,000.
Yeah.
The dealers here are just superb. You will not see, they're probably the best dealers in Europe. Their style is amazing.
Do you wish you were there, Kara?
I do, although I'm quite happy being here as well.
One interesting thing is the way they do the dinner break is you have the dinner break. It's just an interesting thing because people mightn't think about this. They do the dinner break in 2 levels. So therefore they have one half of the room keep on playing while people go off for their dinner for 45 minutes.
Right.
And then they come back and they play when the others go back and have their 45 minutes.
I thought you were going to say, like, first level's like beans on toast, and the second level's like, you know, cod, or something really fancy like that.
Ooh, cod.
Yeah, mental, isn't it?
I think it was braised steak, I'm afraid. But there you go.
Less good.
And
James.
Austrian apple pie.
Oh, delighted.
Oh, look at you. You're salivating, aren't you?
I could have a bit. Luckily, I've got a donut in the studio, but if I didn't,
Nick,
I would be salivating.
No, we
mate,
can't.
We're going to let you
Nick,
get
we
into the
can't send you apple pie from Austria. I'm sorry.
No, but you could bring it back if you were really cared.
I
No?
don't care.
You don't care. Mate, we're going to let you get back into the warm.
I've got to get back to play.
We'd like you to wish you very good luck from the studio and for all our viewers, of course.
Thank you very much.
Bring the title home for us, James.
I'll do my best.
All right. Good night,
Bye,
mate.
Kara.
Bye.
Bye. Don't know who that was. Let's get back to the game. We're going to the MTT, apparently. Let's get back to that game. And the multi-table tournament, the blinds are 150, 300. We thank James Browning for braving the cold.
Yes, and if anyone was wondering why I was making faces at the camera there, I'm sorry. In the chat box, someone told me that if I gave them a thumbs up, they'd let me have the round. Is that bad?
They didn't say thumbs up, did they?
No, they said to blow them a kiss, which I refused to do, and yet I still won the hand, so I'm quite happy about that.
Exactly. You don't need to cheapen yourself for that.
No.
Raise above it. So this is our multi-table tournament, and the blinds are up to 150, 300, so getting to the middle stages. And we're down to 63 players from our initial loads more than that. S-Cop, 25,000 chips, that's the big stack. Scoppy. So you would want to have, if you were sitting in this tournament, at least 3,000, preferably something close to 5,000 chips, if you wanted to be starting to feel comfortable. And Melon Nat, down the bottom there, is the smallest stack in the tournament. He'll just be looking for something to stick his chips in with. And there'll be a lot of weeding out, I would imagine. There has been a lot of weeding out. That will continue. The top 30 finishers will get a prize in this tournament. We'll check in with another table. As ever on the show, we will bring you the final of this multi-table tournament if you stay with us. Probably in the last hour, we'll look at the final stages where the money gets sorted out. Over $700 for first place and only a $10 buy-in. Great value. These big online tournaments are astonishing to someone like me, to all of us that started poker before the online revolution.
Way back then.
Way back then.
In the dark ages.
That's right. Back before DVD recorders and
Oh.
sliced bread.
Even then?
Even then.
Wow.
You still in?
I am still in.
Go on,
thank you.
Kara.
Thank you very much. I'm not, you know, in
Take
last
them
place.
down.
I'm
Take them down to
working on it.
Chinatown.
I'm working on it. I'm trying not to get all distracted. I think I'm doing okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Feeling comfortable, relaxed?
Mostly.
At one with the table?
Yeah, just need to, you know, shake it off here. Shake it off.
Shake it off. And focus.
But the blinds are at 8160, and I have
Uh-huh.
950 in my stack, just to give you an idea of where I am at the moment.
So you're kind of, you're at that point where you're okay, but it's going to get serious.
That's the thing, yeah. Yeah. So we'll see what happens, really. I don't want to give too much away.
No,
I'm
I don't want you
conscious
to.
of,
I just want you to do brilliantly.
Well, thank you.
Well, we all do.
You are my poker teacher, so it does reflect on you, you know.
Oh dear.
Yeah, exactly.
Less good.
But that's all right. And the blinds are coming around to me as well quickly here.
That's going to happen.
I know. See, that's just the way poker is, isn't it?
Well, you can afford to take them once. Someone might say if they were trying to give you advice. Patron raises from the big blind, re-raises in fact, and takes that one down. And that will cause us to nip off to another table. And Rolex red sub. Again, another hand out of the blinds. In tournament play, you get a lot of this. The action pass around to the small blind. It becomes a contest from the blinds. And how well you play out of the blinds is a big factor of. It's a big factor in whether you are a good tournament player or not. Is how you play out of the blinds, and it's very, very difficult. It's very difficult. As you've just found, you just had a difficult blind decision, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
It is very hard. And what often happens is that you get involved in hands in the blinds that you wouldn't normally play, because you try and steal the big blind, or you try and re-steal from the small blind, or maybe you just make up in the small blind, and you can end up going out of a tournament with a hand like 9-7 or something crazy like that, and you think, why did I get involved? Well, when the blinds get high, you have to get involved to a certain extent, and it can be very tricky. We are going to... Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm right.
Hanging in?
I'm hanging in there.
Good for you. I can't believe there's still 7 players left.
I know, and the blinds are 8160s, and I imagine they're going to go up again fairly quickly too, so...
Wow.
We'll see.
It's an exciting tournament, guys. At 12 o'clock, we are going to, after the next break, we're going to show you all of that. You'll see all the cards, and we'll analyse what Kara did, what she didn't do, how she got on, and point and laugh at her if she does badly. We won't. Not like that. Let's get back to our single table tournament. To see WSOP bite the dust and leave with 5 players. And Hoofy needs to make a move. Goes all in. He won't want to be called. As it happens, he's got a 50-50 shot at this. He was always going to be called by the big blind because it's only another 100, but well, look at that. Golden Jaguar hits the set. And he could check here. He could take a check. No, he decides to bet Snakey out of it. And Hoofhearted picks up a straight draw, but it's not enough. And we lose Hoofy. Bad luck, Hoofy. He will... be back to fight another day, almost immediately, knowing him. Down to our last 4 players, known as the Bubbles, stupid name, but we'll start with it. And whoever goes out next will be our Bubble Boy, another stupid term. Again, nothing we can do to change it, apparently. It's written somewhere. All that means is the next person to go out is the last person to go home with nothing. It's kind of the worst place to go out. And as we can see, Geordie and Snakey are the ones most in danger of that, because they are our short stacks. Snakey doing absolutely the right thing. And Golden Jaguar can afford to make that call. Snakey will have been quite happy to have seen it passed round, and now needs a queen or a king. Doesn't look good. Doesn't happen, and we're down to our prize winners. Well done, you 3. How are you doing, Kara Scott?
I'm doing all right, thank you very much. Doing absolutely fine here.
Those blinds are starting to get big, aren't they?
They certainly are. They certainly are. But we've lost another player at the table.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. So that's all right.
Well, you keep on rocking and rolling. I, the tiger.
Yeah. Eyes on the prize, eyes on the
Eyes
prize.
on the prize.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Geordie hasn't got much. Geordie hasn't got much rocking and rolling left to do. He'll need these 9s to stand up for sure. And he's all right so far. He or she could be either, I guess. Geordie. Only an ace will deprive him. And Geordie's 5s. And as we see every night on the show, No Limit Hold'em is a very fast game, and things can change incredibly quickly with the blinds big and the lighter stages. The 9s are going round. Golden Jaguar has the 9s. And Geordie's going to have one of those horrible decisions you get at the end of these one-table tournaments. He has to call. He has to call because he's getting odds on his money, and if he passes, 500 chips is not competitive. He's got a bad hand. He knows he's behind, but he just can't afford to throw it away, and he reluctantly makes that call. And he's got an out. He's got a straight draw. 8 or a 3 would have got him out. It doesn't happen, and we're going to be heads up. Big blind, and Golden Jaguar's got the edge, but Mrs. Votovova's not out of it. Just makes up there, and I'm not a fan of that. It's really ever a fold or a raise situation, I think, with the blinds this high. Personally, I'm not a fan of just limping or making up. Can now afford to go all in with the pair of sixes. Should push his stack in, really, because any card that comes on the turn is a threat.
You know, I'm going to have so many questions for you during the break. I can't ask them now.
Okay, that would be unethical.
Oh no, it's just because it would show what I've got.
Yes.
But I've got sort of theoretical questions I need to run by you.
Well, you can ask them in the analysis of the game that will follow at 12. Oh, yeah.
Excellent. That's a very good idea. What a good idea.
It's like a Fast and Furious table you're on, Cara.
It kind of is at this point.
They're being a little bit brutal.
Yeah, I think they really are. But that's all right.
That's all right. I know you can handle it.
I can handle it.
Sevens versus Jack 9, and the sevens are going to call here, surely. Surely, surely. They do, and the 9 hits. Golden Jaguar has been in the lead for a lot of the time. And is our winner. Well done, Golden Jaguar.
Oh, he asked you not to call him that, by the way.
Oh, is it annoying? Sorry, I apologise, Golden Jaguar. Sorry, that is childish, isn't it? I'll call you Goldie after Simon Groom's dog.
Nice. Okay.
And that's what a chip movement graph would look like if it was done by Ozzy Osbourne. A little bit all over the shop. I hope you enjoy the single table tournament. Miss Cara Scott is still playing online, so I'm going to handle a couple of emails, if you don't mind.
Yeah, you go for it.
Is that all right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, chip in.
I will do.
No, don't focus. Sorry,
sorry.
focus.
Yes, focusing.
100%.
Focusing.
We all need to win.
Eye of the tiger.
Eye of the chaffinch. Stephen Kerr says, "Hi guys, as ever, the best show on TV. You're so right. So much better than that Emmerdale Farm nonsense. I mean, it's a farm. Nick, do you think this could be a world record? I played in a short-handed sit and go this morning, 5-seated, and it was all over on the 9th hand. That's impressive. The hand that started the rout also finished it, namely 4 of a kind jacks. Have you ever heard of a faster sit and go? I haven't. I don't personally play the 5-handed sit and go, so I wouldn't have been in one myself. If any of you out here have heard of a faster one, or let us know, poker@pokernightllive.co.uk. So 9 hands, basically every other hand somebody's gone out. You haven't actually said, Steve, how you did in it. I hope you won it, quite frankly. It's very rare. He says that 4 of a kind jacks cause carnage. It's actually reasonably rare, because when you have 4 of a kind, what it usually means is that you have crippled the deck, because all of the cards that are useful that match the board are actually in somebody's hand. So 4 of a kind doesn't often produce action, but obviously in that case we got one of those quirky scenarios. This is an email from Surf's Up, who says, I just made it into the final round. You're right, Cara?
Uh-huh.
Are you not giving anything away?
Well, I'm right at the bubble here.
Oh, you're the bubble?
I'm the
She's
bubble
at the
girl.
Bubble.
I'm the girl in the bubble.
I hope you're not the bubble girl, you know?
Ah, well, we'll see.
I feel good things.
Do you?
Very positive.
Okay.
I told you you were going to cash right from the beginning. Look at a little face. I wonder what's just happened.
Poker face.
An email from Surf's Up. I just made it to the final round by people busting out around me while being short-stacked most of the game. Well, that will happen. One of the things about tournament play is you need to always be adjusting your game. Now, if you're at a final table or a single table tournament and everybody's moving their chips fast, if they're making mistakes, if they're busting out, then you need to sit back and play tight. There's no need to get involved, because every time somebody busts out, your equity increases. You go up a notch. He says, does Nick ever play in the Rounders format, and has he had any success when playing them? I must confess I haven't played Rounders format. Rounders format is where you play different levels of tournament. Are you having a little pray? You're crying?
No. No, you carry on.
I've got Prozac if you...
Yeah.
It's an emotional business, this poker roller coaster. I haven't played the Rounders format myself. I've played it a couple of times. I've dabbled with it. I haven't played it seriously. But I was talking to one of our other presenters, Matt Brown, about it the last time we were on, and it sounds like a lot of fun. Basically, you play a small entry fee, and you play I think it's a short-handed one-table tournament, and if you win it, maybe it exists with normal one-table tournaments. If you win it, you move to the next tournament, which is the equivalent of a higher buy-in, because it has different winners from the other low buy-ins. And you can play several levels and end up winning a big prize for a small buy-in. I don't have much experience with them. It'd be good to hear from somebody who does. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And of course, we want your texts and your emails as ever. We've got plenty of time, over 2 hours, to get your questions in. And doesn't matter what level of the game you are, we'd love to hear from you. Kerry, you're back with me.
I am now.
Lovely to have you back.
My game is over.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. I really, really did.
Did you? Awesome. Don't give anything away.
No.
You'll spoil it. You'll spoil it. We're going to have a look at it though, aren't we, after the old break?
Oh, yay.
Oh, yay.
Great. And you can pick apart my game.
I wouldn't even know how. We're going to go to a 25, 25, I can't even talk. When you go and see a lot of 25s on a poker table, let's see.
Let's do that.
I mean, that in the cut and thrust of a long life show, you are going to lose the ability to talk, aren't you? Pair of sevens for Craven. And that's good enough. This is a 25, 50-cent cash game. And that means the players can put down up to $50 in cash in their initial buy-in. And so all the players that you're looking at that are over $50 have made a profit of one kind or another on this buy-in anyway. They may be making a loss somewhere else. We don't know. And this is a cash game. And that means that they can come and go as they please.
Yes.
And when they run out of cash,
yes,
they can either go and do something more interesting.
Really?
If there is something more interesting.
I don't think there is.
Or they can reload and play again.
Ka-ching. It reminds me of that the scene in Terminator 2, you know, when she's got the big rifle, she's reloading. Exactly, yeah.
Pumping it with one arm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Pump action shotgun. Go and reload.
Gotta love Terminator 2.
I know, it's one of my other favourite films. The bit where she's doing the pull-ups
sure
in her cell. It's just like, ah.
Yes. She went on steroids for that film, famously.
She?
Yeah.
See, that I didn't know.
Well, she's ridiculously muscled.
Oh, I know, but my goodness, the shoulders on her are amazing. Yeah.
Craven raises with the aces and takes the blinds only. Potentially a bit frustrating, but you've got to remember it's still profit, and you'd rather do that than lose a big pot with your aces. Here's some stats. Possibly a bit advanced for beginners beginners out there, but what you've got to bear in mind is this shows you the style of how people play. Kara, don't play again.
I know, you know what? I was so tempted.
You're not allowed.
I'm not allowed.
You're working.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Stay off.
I'm going to turn it off
Stay
now,
off the internet.
because it's just drawing my attention. So yeah, now I've turned it off. I'm back with you in the room.
Walk away from the source of addiction.
Walk away. Back away slowly from the computer.
Come to the light. So very different styles here. Lock Ryan is raising a lot before the flop, and the guys at the bottom are raising a little, playing very passively. So very different styles on this table.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed. Are you all right? Have you come down yet? Or are you still buzzing?
My head's still buzzing a little bit with the whole thing. So.
Got a bit. I couldn't watch it obviously, but when I looked over towards the end, it was getting a bit fast and furious.
It was. It really was. And then yeah, I was having a hard time sort of coping with all the different information, and I missed it there at the end. But you know, that's all right.
I think one of the things that beginners do find, and even when they watch the show, let alone play, is internet poker is fast. I mean, that's one of the reasons it's popular is it's fast. But it is fast, and if you're trying to, I mean, we bandy around a lot of different concepts. If you're trying to take them all in and use them,
yes,
very hard.
Not a lot of time to think about what you're going to do. And then if you do wait a while and then put in a raise, and it's quite obvious that you've been thinking about it, it kind of says something about your hand anyways, because the people can see the little timer moving.
The way around that is to take your time from the beginning, really.
Oh,
and that
right,
may annoy some people, but who cares? It's your time. You're allowed to use it. Tens versus, I'm cutting myself off, because tens versus queens versus ace-king. And SG145 doesn't call the re-raise with queens. Very interesting. Probably means he thinks Geordie's a tight player and might well be in trouble. But you won't see many people at this level throw away queens if they're re-raised.
Okay. Oh, I had a follow-on question from that, and now I've forgotten what it was. Can't even remember what we were talking about a minute ago. My head is so full of the poker. Oh no, that's what I was going to say. There are games that are actually slower games. And they say that they're slower games, probably for beginners.
Are there?
I'm pretty sure there are.
there?
Slow tables.
Oh, really?
And some of them are marked on different sites as slower tables.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's probably, I mean, if you are a beginner like me, and you need a chance to think about what you're going to do, and you're not going to get irritated by the fact that everyone takes a little bit longer.
Yeah, definitely.
A slow table might be the way to go.
That sounds like a brilliant idea. I didn't know they existed.
Well, if they didn't before, they should. I'm pretty sure they do, though. I've seen it.
You just invented them. They didn't
In my
exist.
head, yes.
Yeah.
No. I'm pretty sure I've seen them on various sites and whatnot. Now, I would love to hear from people talking to us about the theme for tonight, which was, what is the one thing you wished that you knew when you had first started poker? What is the one thing that you think would have helped your game? You can text us on 62211, or give us your comments on some of the poker that you've seen tonight, in fact. You can send us an email, and the email address is poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Email the expert. He's just sitting here. He's not really doing all that much.
I just had to talk for ages.
I know, you did as well, and thank you. I did feel a bit bad.
No, you didn't. You
I
were
did.
having a laugh.
No, but if you want to have a laugh on Poker Night Live, nice link there, like what I did. 0906 200 70 80 is a number to ring, and make sure you get the permission from the bill payer, because it will cost you something, but you can get your voice on Poker Night Live.
Cool.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
But if you're asking about Nick's hair or anything like that, it probably won't get played.
You can ask about that. And if you were in the game with Kara, we'd love to hear from you. If you played against Kara, if you watched the game on the internet live, we'd love to hear.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Cool. And if you are new to the game, as I am, one of the things that's going to help you, and we've already showed you this tonight, but it's another chance to look at the what's in the hole. And now it's my turn. I can have a little dance to the music.
Cool.
Come on.
You'll find it very uplifting. I want to hear your lounge voice though.
There you go. We're just having a bit of a dance here.
Yeah, which is not great TV, but it's good for us. What are they trying to do, Kara?
Thank you so much for that. That's just
your
not
popularity
funny.
has just jumped.
Because I can't dance.
They've done you such a favour.
Oh boy.
Kara, what's happening on the screen?
Don't know if I can see the red mist in front of me from the blush.
Guys, you're trying to guess what's under those 2 question marks. Text exactly what the name of that dance Kara was doing is to 62211. 62211. And if you'd like to see me dance, or if you'd like to not see me dance, also text 62211. Guys, you've only got about 15, 20 minutes to get that one, because we're going to tell you the answer to that.
That's right.
After the break, aren't we?
That is true, and then we'll have a new What's in the Hole, and we can do another little dance.
Come on. Bust a move. They miss me busting a move.
I know.
Thank
Why
goodness.
did they miss you busting a move?
I'll do a little. I'll do it later.
Yeah.
Be all right.
Nick taught me how to dance as well as how to play poker, just so everyone knows. I blame it all on you.
I've taught you nothing.
Yeah, clearly. Right, and there's our leaderboard. Mr. Snappit, Mr. Ken Snappit himself, down there at the bottom, and Gullo 1 right at the top. Everyone else somewhere in the middle.
Such is the nature of leaderboards.
It kind of is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here to point these things out for you. That's my job.
Johan Harren's got the ace-king, and he raises it up.
Yeah, a difficult one to play, the ace-king.
And quite a weird call from Snappit.
Yeah?
Well, would you call a raise with a pair of sevens, Kara?
No.
You wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't.
And Snappit is a very tight player.
I know. Maybe he's trying to loosen up his image just a little.
Maybe.
That could be. That could be.
Well, if so, he should now bet, because Johan Harren's checked the flop, and that's kind of weak play, I think, from both of them. I mean, how many times are you going to check it, lads? Seriously.
I don't know.
The world's going to keep turning, and it's going to pass you by if you don't start betting.
This is true.
Or something.
Should be the aggressor. That's the whole point, isn't it? Yeah, if you want to win, you should be the aggressor. It's one of the two ways that you can win. You need to either make a bet that no one else can or will match, or you have to have the best cards.
That's brilliant. I feel like...
You've taught me so well,
yeah,
Master.
I'm trying to think which...
I have snatched the pebble from your hand.
Yes.
I am Grasshopper.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. It's like when Gandalf leaves the hobbits, when they get back to the Shire. In the book, not the film. They couldn't put it in the film. It's already too long. In the book, where he leaves them and they get back to the Shire and it's all a mess, but they sort it out because they've now finally... You bow to no one.
Oh, because you're too short.
That's a good point.
They can't really
Is that what
bow,
that was
can
about?
they?
I just thought that was a really emotional moment.
You can't really bow when you're that short. But the Grasshopper one, I can't remember the name of the TV series. Is it the David Carradine one?
Oh, Kung Fu.
Or is it Green Lantern? Is it Kung Fu?
Is it Kung Fu?
It's either Kung Fu or Green Lantern. I think it's Kung Fu.
Okay. That Bruce Lee was going to be in, and then they went for...
Yeah. Because he ended up being in Green Lantern. Green Hornet.
Green Hornety Lantern.
Sorry. I got my superheroes mixed up. I do apologize.
You got your green items confused.
I did.
Potentially dangerous if preparing a salad.
Yes.
Big Mint has the ace 10, and he's just going to limp.
Limping away, there he goes.
And he's hit his ace. Now, what you've got to ask yourself is, if with that ace 10 he'd raised, would Snappet have played his pair of fives? Probably not. And would he now be staring at a set and about to lose a lot of money? See, we see these as small decisions, our pre-flop decisions, but the reality is, when you look at the pots where you lose a lot of money, a lot of them can be unwound to a mistake pre-flop.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
I see. No, I think you're absolutely right, and I've heard that from other commentators as well. When people send an email saying, did I play this hand correctly, or is there any way I could have gotten away from this? Well, yeah, you shouldn't have played it before the flop.
It's amazing how much that happens. And now Big Man's going to find this difficult to get away from. Oh, he's going to find it horrible to get away from now. Interesting check from Snappet. He's going to check raise again, and Big Mint's just going to call. I mean, he's going to fold. Okay, well, that's a good fold at the end.
But didn't he have 3 aces and Snappet had 3 fives?
Snappet had a full house. Fives and aces.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So they didn't both have fives and aces, because that was the best 5-card hand. Oh, okay.
Big Man's
Sorry,
hand was...
It's being a bit of a spanner.
No, it's fine. It's fine. This is a tricksy one if you're board reading quickly. Big Mint had 3 aces, and then 10, and I think there was a jack on board, I can't remember. Snappet had 2 fives in his hand, 5 on the board, 2 aces on the board, so he had the full house. Once you've got a set, and you're up against somebody with a pair on the flop, it's extremely difficult for the set to lose.
Yeah.
Really difficult. Basically, you need runner to make 4 of a kind, because if you make 3 of a kind, you make the other guy a full house.
Right. I see.
You've glazed over like I'm...
Well, I'm just thinking, people always say that it's the best 5-card hand.
Yeah.
So technically, didn't they all have...
No, because 2 of the 5s were in Snappet's hand.
Of course.
It's all right. You know, you're still buzzing from your tournament.
I am a bit. Oh, well. Right, let's take a look at some more stats.
Apparently we're going for a break quite soon, guys, but you can't go anywhere, because after the break, you'll see Miss Kara Scott in action.
Yes.
The Eye of the Tiger writ large.
Yes, how exciting. And we are going to do some emails and whatnot as well before the break, but...
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
You're going to have to do a bit more work. I know that you had to work hideously hard all by yourself, but I didn't get a chance to talk to James on the phone, and I feel a little put out by that.
Did I slightly dominate that?
Oh, no, I was busy playing. But
Oh,
still,
right, okay.
I would have loved to have been able to speak
Okay.
to him. Maybe next time.
He was
Maybe
making a
next
big sacrifice for the show.
time. I know, stood
Being out
outside in
in
the
the
cold. Bless his
He
heart.
just misses being here.
I know. I like working with James.
Really?
He's lovely. Yeah,
You're
he
the
really
one.
is. Yeah.
No, we all love him. He's a top
Absolutely,
man.
and I hope that he does really well.
Incredibly intelligent man.
Yes, but enough of that. We're going to go to an email now, and it's time for you to do a little bit of poker work. Yeah?
All right.
You ready?
All right.
There we go. Okay, now we have an email from Bernie, and Bernie has a question that is actually something I've been wondering myself.
Cool.
So here we go. Bernie says,
we're helping at least 2 people.
Yes.
Guaranteed.
Yes, and me as well, being very important in, because I have, tournaments to play and whatnot. This is important stuff, this poker.
Yes.
I need to know the answer to this question.
Here we go. What is it?
Right, I'd like your opinion on ace-king, suited or unsuited, please. I lose nearly all the time with it. So do I, every single time. Oh, honestly. I'll never raise with it, and I never hit the flop. Neither do I. I mean, in both tournaments I've played, never hit the flop with ace-king. And if I do, it's very rare. I play 100, 200 limit hold'em. Does it differ how you play in limit to no limit? Any advice gratefully received. Thank you very much. And that is from Bernie. So, what is your opinion on the ace-king as a starting hand?
Well, if you never hit the flop, it is a bit rubbish.
Never.
Yeah. How many times have you never hit the flop?
Like I don't know, twice.
To all both of them?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
never.
Such a pain.
I know, isn't it?
You're going to hit 1 in every 3.
Oh, so the next one I should hit.
So next one you're definitely going to hit, yeah.
Excellent.
It's roughly, for useful purposes, it's roughly 2 to 1.
Okay.
To hit the flop with ace-king. And the great thing is when you do make a pair on the flop, you'll have the top pair with the best possible kicker. So that's when it becomes a strong hand.
Right.
The problem we see a lot on Poker Night Live with our players is that they overplay ace-king. Because it's like the 4th or 5th strongest hands you can pick up to start with, people get carried away. The reality is you've only got ace-high. If you miss the flop, you have ace-high, that's all you have. And it then loses a lot of its power because obviously somebody only needs a pair of 2s and they've got you beat. So you need to play it a little bit carefully. Now, there was a debate in poker a while ago about whether ace-king was a premium hand or a drawing hand. And most people view it as a premium hand, but a guy called Mike Caro, who some of you will have heard of, some of you won't, who's a poker thinker and writer, wrote quite a controversial and impactful piece about how it should actually be played as a drawing hand, for the reasons I've just said, which is when it misses, when it doesn't make a pair on the flop, it's actually very weak. When it hits, it's very strong. So it's not actually a raising hand pre-flop. That's what Mike Carroll believed. The truth is probably somewhere in between, in that you can play it as a premium hand, you can play it as a drawing hand. You need to have your actions consistent before and after the flop, depending on which way you're going to go with it. Normally, you'd be looking to raise, and the reason you'd be looking to raise, before the flop, of course, the reason you'd be looking to raise is that you'd like to thin the field. You don't want lots of people competing with you with ace-king most of the time, because if there are many people in the hand, then hands like 7-8, small pairs, are getting odds to play, and your ace-king, your high cards, which may not improve, are getting hurt by that. So normally you're going to want to raise. It's also a strong hand. That's the other reason to raise, and you want to invest money when you have a strong hand. The problem for most people comes after the flop. If you miss with ace-king, then a lot of the time you're done with it. There are several factors to consider as to whether you would bet again once you've missed the flop. The main one is the number of opponents. If you've got one opponent, Cara, I hope you're writing all this down.
I am.
Yeah, because you're going to
avidly
correct this.
Yes.
You weren't, were you?
I was listening.
Yeah. Don't listen with your eyes, apparently, because you weren't. If you miss the flop, you want to think about the number of opponents in the hand, because what you're going to be doing is making a continuation bet, and that means a bet which continues your lead in the action. So you've raised before the flop, you make a bet after the flop, usually of half or 2/3 the pot, and that will force people that have also missed the flop to throw their hands away. You want to do that, so you've got the lead in the pot, you don't want to give that up. If you've got more than 2 opponents with a missed ace-king, I would be done with the hand, because the odds are that they have either connected with the flop or they have you beaten anyway. Then you don't want to be pushing money into a losing situation where you're likely to have resistance. Position, of course, is also important. If you're in last position, you can be more likely to bet when you miss with ace-king. The final thing to say on this is that when you hit, please remember that you only have one pair. A lot of times that's going to be good, but an awful lot of times it's not going to be good. So if you get resistance, be prepared to throw away that ace-king. It's a vexed subject.
It is. A lot of people have trouble with this.
Well, it is a good hand, but it's a good hand that can go wrong.
Okay, well, we will see more of this after the break, which is where we are going right now. So stay tuned. There's lots more poker action coming up on Poker Night Live. Hello and welcome back to Poker Night Live. This is the second half of the show. No, I love it when you do the whole newsreader thing. It's with the glasses and everything. It's very smart.
I am deeply professional, you know that.
Deeply, deeply professional. Right, now we have a lot to pack into this hour.
Okay, so
we do, because we have to show my tournament as well.
Kara's tournament is coming
Very important.
Mm-hmm.
But first, we're going to show you what's in the hole. I'm not going to dance this time either. So you can't catch me out again. Right, what's in the hole? Let's take a look.
So, tonight on the Poker Night Live conveyor belt, a fluffy Clemmy, 3 chaffinches, a standard lamp, a top-loading VHS recorder. We're going to tell you what's in the hole. This is what happened. You can't actually see what the cards are, but we're going to show you in a second, aren't we?
No, we certainly are. For those of you who missed it the first few times we showed it, have a look at this. Caught you dancing. So what
don't
was in the
answer
hole?
now because you'll
It's
be
done
disappointed.
now. Yeah, because we are going to show you what the answer is.
Okay.
I believe.
Can't stop dancing.
And here it comes. What's in the hole? Well, in fact.
Oh, I knew it.
King.
I guess King of Diamonds, King of Clubs.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. They were a bit tricky on that one.
1 out, weren't we?
Oh, so close, so close. Goes Jose Vader. I do like the music. I really do.
It's beautiful. It really takes it up a level.
It really does. It's better than anything that we could have come up with in the break. And we are going to have a new What's in the Hole for you as well this hour. So make sure you do stay tuned for that. A game.
Oh, yeah.
We've got the A game here tonight.
Mm-hmm. When does that arrive? Congratulations if you got it right, by the way.
Yeah.
Well done. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a leaderboard, you know.
Yes, a monthly leaderboard. So if you're trying to figure out what they are sort of night by night, and you're doing really well at it.
Don't think of being ignored.
No. We see you.
We see you. And we love you.
Right, now we're going to do an update on our multi-table tournament before going to my tournament. Did I tell you we're going to see my tournament?
She's so excited. I wonder what happened.
I don't know. Let's take a look at our MTT.
Did it go badly?
It went terribly.
Yeah.
I just get excited by playing. I just love it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so we have 27 players left.
Okay. So really getting down to the nitty-gritty.
Down to the nitty-gritty. And in fact, the big stack for the entire tournament is there, and I believe that is Scop.
Have you played in one of these multi-table tournaments yet?
No, but I think I'm ready.
I think you're ready. It's very exciting.
Thank you. I enjoyed the whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah, and more play in a multi-table tournament,
Well,
so I'm going to have to start
you'll enjoy them
getting
more.
into that. Yeah.
And there's the prospect of such a big reward, you see.
Oh, fantastic. What a way to spend a few hours.
What a way to spend a lifetime.
Yeah, well, apparently the small stack is not at this table, but they are at about 5,000 chips, just so that you know. In fact, it might have been the judge moving over, having made a few. Hard to say.
Could be.
Hard to say. And you can see that they're starting to consolidate tables down as well, so we're getting farther and farther, well, closer and closer towards the final table.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, Smith Killer there had an interesting one. The blinds are only 1,000 and he's got 9,500. He chose to push in with his queens. There's nothing wrong with that, but an alternative play is to make a standard raise to 3,000 and hope that somebody plays, because you don't have that many chips. You're probably not going to see too many more premium hands, and you might well want to take a chance. The danger is that too many people come in, so that's the sort of flip side, the downside. But
right. Well, isn't that quite dangerous, especially if you are short-stacked? You can't really afford that, can you?
Yeah, it can be, but
sometimes you have to be bold.
Well, you do sometimes, because you're not gonna get lots of premium hands, and you want to try and make the most of them if you are getting short-stacked.
Okay, and that's true. I suppose you're already getting paid at this level as well, so you've made back your investment because 30 places are paid. So we do know everyone here is at least going to get paid.
Let it hang out a little bit.
Yeah.
Always a good idea late on a Thursday night. Just generally. Put on a bit of lounge music.
Have a little dance.
Have a little dance.
Play a little poker.
Play a little cards. Nice.
Get down tonight.
If you insist. And one of those blind play situations we talked about in tournaments does happen an awful lot. And most of the, well, I think of most of the times I've gone out and been frustrated in a tournament, it's been a blind hand of some description.
Right. So do be careful when you're going to play on the blinds.
Yeah, I mean, when the, I went out of the single table last night, out of the small blind, but what happens is when the blinds get big, you then start having to try and steal the big blind because it's so valuable, and if it's being passed around to you, that is an opportunity to make some chips. But if you have got enough chips to be comfortable in the tournament, don't feel obliged to play from the small blind.
Right.
People, because nobody else has played, and because they can see the big blind there up for grabs, they feel compelled to play.
Yeah.
But if you've got a bad hand, or the person in the big blind is a little bit lively, then you don't have to play. You can quite comfortably throw your hand away. I mean, as we said when we were talking about before, when we were talking about whether or not you need to defend your blind, you have to pay the blinds anyway. You have to do that.
Yeah.
So don't feel that you have to defend them. TJ Cloutier, who you may or may not have heard of, one of the very best players of all time, in his book says, it can be frustrating if you're giving up your blinds and having to throw your cards away all the time, but it shouldn't be, because even if you know somebody's stealing, even if you know they're nicking your blinds, if you look down and you see, Jack 7 or something like that, even if you know for a fact that the player's raised you with a bad hand, you've still got Jack 7. So that doesn't change. And you can't allow yourself to get frustrated. People stealing the blinds happens all the time. And
yeah, we've had a few emails in from people who have things like Poker Tracker, who do say, the position where I'm losing the most money or I'm making the most wrong plays is from either the small or the big blind.
And I guarantee it's because they're playing too many hands. I guarantee.
You guarantee it?
That is the Poker Night Live Expert guarantee.
Ooh.
You can't put a price on that.
Stamp of guarantee right there.
That's as close as dependable. That sentence self-destructed. We'll never speak of it again.
Just glad it happened to you. It keeps happening to me.
Not always easy, the old chat, is it?
No.
Poker Rich with a hand that looks pretty, but is pretty bad, actually.
Yeah, I find it hard to put that down every once in a while, especially if I'm starting to get short-stacked.
The key to playing those hands is to not see the suit. So just see it
Right.
as offsuit, and don't be seduced. Basically, you'd rather have 9-8 suited than Ace-8 suited.
Yeah.
Unless you're very short-stacked, in which case you'd rather have the ace. But if you're not very short-stacked, you'd rather have 9-8, and the reason is...
More ways
Ace-8
to win.
Well, kinda. Okay. It's
Okay.
more of a playing question because Ace-8 is very difficult to play, because if an ace comes down, it's very hard to know if somebody's got a better ace or not.
Of course, yeah.
Whereas with 9-8, for example, you'll pretty much know whether you've got something or not. So it's a harder hand to play after the flop. MCR is going to be praying there's no more spades, and there aren't. And he doubles through Ian, who will be frustrated as he had the best hand. Sometimes that's the way it goes.
That's the way the chips fall.
Can be harsh.
It can. Poker can be a harsh mistress.
No, you're... Yeah, not always a bad thing. You're going to be playing live for the first time soon, aren't you? Is that true?
What?
Next week?
What? Nobody told me this.
You are.
What? I'm up for it.
I believe there's a Poker Night Live function.
Oh, of course. No, yes, I am. I can't wait. A live game.
Live for
I'm
cash.
so excited.
You should be. You'll love it. It's
I
brilliant.
cannot wait. No, that will be really good fun. So we are going to be doing this. The Poker Night Live presenters and commentators.
We are, and you'll have a little bit more time to think about your decisions as well.
And people won't be shouting at me if I take too long.
People will be shouting at you. Or I will be. But I'll be drunk, so I'm not responsible for my actions.
True, yes.
So
Are you a shouty drunk then?
just when you take ages to play your cards.
Well, then maybe I'll do it just to throw you off.
I'm just a shouty person anyway.
Yeah, generally.
Yeah. But That'll be fun. You can report back to the viewers how you found playing live.
Yeah.
But I think it's the one thing, well, yeah, it's pretty close to being the thing we get more emails about than anything else, which is people that have played online going to play live for the first time.
Yeah.
And, you know, worried about it or whatever. But yeah, I think it's just one of those things that it's like a band-aid, you just got to do it. Look at this, 4 of a kind.
Ooh-ah.
Banners, little sirens, 4 of a kind for Scope.
Woohoo!
And that's out of order, isn't it? He's the chip leader in the tournament. He doesn't need 4 of a kind.
Yeah, but see, these things, it doesn't go by what's
I know,
fair.
it's just in this life, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, don't they?
Oh, boo-hoo, I weep for you.
Don't weep for me, I'm wealthy in many ways.
Mr. Nick Wealthy Wealthall.
Thank you. And 4 of a kind for Scott, it is a bit cheeky when you've already got the big chip stack to hit 4 of a kind.
I suppose. You don't really need it then, so you'd probably be thinking, I could have used that, you know, in my game last week.
Well, he'll be thinking his name's on the tournament because he's got lots and lots of chips and he's hitting hands as well. We'll see how he gets on.
We will see how he gets on. And there we go. They both hit the ace. Unfortunately for Slope.
Another winning hand for Scope. And
he's getting paid on that one nicely as well.
well, can Slope get away from it?
I don't know about that. I don't know if he can get away from it. I think he's going to have to with that kind of bet. He's got to realise that Scope's got something much better than him, or even just a little better.
Yeah, and the other big factor there is that Slope would have to call for all his chips. It's his whole tournament. And
yeah, it's a bit early in the game for him to do that, yeah. Ace King.
Kings for Poke Rich. And he'll make the standard raise.
3 times a big blind.
Yeah. Simple and classic.
Yep, simple and classic, and it works. Sometimes the classic plays work, just like you said. Sometimes it's a straightforward poker that wins.
Well, most of the time, and the thing to remember is that's why it's become straightforward poker. $61,000 for Scope. That is a lot of chips with the blind at 612,100.
Yeah, you've got to be feeling pretty relaxed at the moment.
Yeah.
Pretty relaxed indeed.
Well, he's not slowing down either. He's playing King 9. He's keeps building that stack. And that's the thing with a big stack. It's very easy to turn a big stack into a huge stack because people don't want to call you. People don't want to play against you because they know that they can go broke. And it's psychologically intimidating. You have to be a little bit careful if you are in the fortunate position of having lots of chips, because if you get carried away, you can start getting involved with hands you don't need to be involved with too much. And,
yeah, overestimate the strength of your hand.
Yeah, or just feel too complacent, and suddenly you've got an average stack and you're back in the rabble.
Well, Ian's all in.
The judge is all in.
Talking about, yeah, completely different game in my head.
The game in your head. And all the players will now be very relieved because Scope's been moved, and this is something that happens in multi-table tournaments because the tables are kept even by the virtual dealer. or if you're tournament director, if you go and play in a live tournament, people physically have to move tables. And it has a big impact on you. If you're sitting here and Scott was sitting there with a big chip stack and he was raising every hand, that's not a table that it's pleasant to be on.
Yeah.
And Scott moving to another table has an effect on those players. It's good for them.
Oh, yeah.
So the situation does change.
And they'll be very happy for that.
What are we going to do now, Kara?
Ooh, I think we might go and watch my tournament.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Very much so. Here we go. This
Some
is exciting.
serious commentating going to happen here now.
Oh, yeah. And slash
yeah.
analysis.
Yes.
Yes.
Analyse my game.
Slash dancing. At the good bits.
At all the pertinent bits, there'll be a little dancing. A thank you to everyone who got out of their seats so I could sit down. A few different people got out of their seats, and then I was clicking away like mad trying to get in, and they'd be stolen by other people.
Very sweet of them. It
was very sweet, and I do appreciate it.
Guys, we still want texts and emails while this tournament's going on. You can ask us anything as usual. 62211 poker@pokernightllive.co.uk. And if you watch this game and involved in this game, we'd love to hear from you.
Yes.
Right, so at the moment you're breaking even.
Yes, I still have 1,000 chips.
Good solid start.
Thanks very much. Thank you very much.
We're off and running.
Yep. I did try to play a little differently than I have in the first couple of tournaments.
Did you?
Bearing in mind all the poker knowledge that you have imparted to me over the many months we've known each other. But so sticking with the standards and the basics, but also branching out just a little.
What were you thinking you were going to try and?
Well, I was thinking don't be quite as tight as I was in the last two.
Okay.
In the first two, because I think I had 89% pre-flop folds or something. It was a bit ridiculous. Nearly, yeah.
Well, which is fair enough because you know.
I was trying to play quite tight because I don't have
You know, quite right too. You're not massively experienced, and you're playing on TV, and
yeah, I didn't want to go out first.
The right thing for you to do. And what we've discovered in these Be the Presenter segments is that the players are playing to a good standard in the tournaments against us.
Yes.
And they're not playing fast and furious early on in the main. So the strategy of being tight for the presenters isn't working because people aren't dropping out.
And for a $2 tournament, which is the level that I was playing at, which is basically my level, the people I was playing against are obviously used to playing.
Ringers, Kara.
No.
They're imposters. They've come down. Well, they've come down in limit to play you.
But see, I appreciate that because it's only going to make me better, isn't it?
Sure. Well,
play the game, not the stakes.
That's right. It's the same game, whatever the stakes.
Oh yes.
Golden Jaguar with the power of position. Oh yeah, he hates that, doesn't he?
Yeah. So you're going to do it forever now, aren't you?
No, that's childish. I won't do it for a while, and then I'll start doing it again. Goldie for now.
Goldie. I like that. Goldie-looking cat. No, I'm trying something there. It didn't work. Moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See where you're going with it. That's you up there.
I know. I'm on telly. This almost felt like a live game because of all there was a lot of chat and there was a lot of banter and whatnot going back and forth in the chat box. So it did feel like a live game. I'm quite looking forward to playing an actual live game.
On occasion, they could see you, so
I know.
kind of live for them. Where
I know they kept saying, "Give us a wink, give us a wave." And I was trying to do it surreptitiously, and
bunch of cheap slatterns, aren't they?
Yeah, one did say that I really shouldn't whore myself by giving out winks and waves on telly. I thought that was a bit harsh.
I don't think you need that guidance, to be honest. I think you know how not to do that.
Yeah.
Double top must be psychic because he's played 8-4 suited. Somehow in the knowledge, because at first I assumed he was in the big blind, but he wasn't. He was in first position. He must have known the eights were coming, isn't it? So this is the phase of the tournament where basically you're chatting in the chat box.
Pretty much at this point, yes. There was a lot of typing going on.
Eye of the tiger, not even remotely in the vicinity.
No, not at all. Nose of the jaguar, nowhere to be found.
Sausages, 1981. Well, they'd have gone off by now. Sorry. Sorry. That's the worst thing I've ever said. That's the worst thing I've ever said. That's rubbish. Well, this is interesting. Will he get bluffed off this? Look at this, Kara.
Ah.
No sixel. has got absolutely nothing, and he's pushed the kings away.
Well done, no 6 though.
Well,
Okay, dangerous move.
well,
But I guess he felt the weakness. He could sense the weakness in sausages.
yeah, goodness knows how. But the thing about Hold'em is with if there's an ace on the flop,
Yeah.
it can be. You've got to be very careful with this idea. It can be a very good time to make a move
Right.
because if the other player doesn't have an ace, it
Then
is
they can
almost
assume,
impossible
yeah.
for them to play.
Right. Because they will assume that you've got the ace.
Yeah,
if
the
you're
ace
making
is
a big
just so
bet.
scary. You've got to be very careful with that idea because, of course, if you run into an ace, you're going to lose chips.
It's going to hurt.
But with the right timing, as no 6 all demonstrated there, it can be a good move to make. Now you've got 20 chips down. Were you worried at this point?
No, not so much. Not worried at all. In the groove.
Kicking back.
Finding my zone.
And double top will be wanting to make a good bet here because most of the cards that come will hurt his hand.
Yep.
He does, and FK doesn't want to call. Great Scott in the small blind.
With a rubbish hand.
It's poor, isn't it?
It is a bit poor. I haven't really had a hand up to this point.
No?
I've been very disciplined. Tossing them away. Yeah. Watching to see what everyone else does, like a good poker student.
Yes.
You know, waiting to see what happens.
The thing is, you can say that now, and we can't disprove you. Yeah,
This
taking
is
it
true.
in, watching their styles,
Yep.
checking out their moves.
Slowly working it out. I was actually thinking, oh, maybe I'll try to steal the blinds, and then, oh, no, double top. Came in with the raise. Nope. Throw them away. Discipline.
Interesting from Mr. Perfect. He's got 2 ways to play there. He can either re-raise immediately, or he can call and then check-raise the flop. Because he has the pair of queens, the likelihood is he'll be ahead after the flop. Obviously, that's slightly riskier because he would be giving double top chance to hit his hand.
Yeah.
I'm just making the viewers aware of the various plays you can drop into your game.
That's good. It's good because people need to know these things.
They need to know these things.
Absolutely. My mom is out there trying to learn poker from your kind tuition over
Oh, she?
the interweb. Yes, she's downloaded all kinds of
Excellent.
charts on probabilities and stuff as well.
Oh, wow.
I know.
She's diving in at the deep end.
She kind of is. She's going to be a master of this game.
Maybe she'll learn a little something from her daughter here.
Ooh-ah, ooh-ah.
6-7 suited on the button. No. Do you
Nope.
want anything to do with it?
Nope. Didn't want to do it.
Okay.
I figure, it's too early in the game for me to be playing with 6-7 suited, even on the button. I just didn't want to have a go.
That's fair enough.
Suppose I could have though. If I'd put in a nice big raise, I may have been able to push off Mr. Perfect and Golden Jaguar.
You could have, but
Probably not Golden Jaguar.
well, obviously you don't know if he's got a hand or
Yeah.
what he's got. I'm never going to argue with you if you don't want to play.
True. Oh,
Early
look
on.
what I got there.
Well, what have you got there?
Oh, I got King Kong, don't I?
King
oh,
Kong.
I do. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, now what do I do here? How much do I raise?
How do I operate this slidey bar?
Yeah, I know. That was me poking at your arm and going,
Yes.
Nick, how do I work this
I
slidey
remember
bar?
it well. And in the end, you opted for just hitting the raise
Paltry.
button.
I didn't want to time out.
That's fair.
Besides, maybe I'm suckering them in. Oh. I wasn't, but I could have been.
You could have been.
I might have been.
Okay, so Sausages is cool to you.
And he's hit his 8, but still, bottom pair. Not
And
much.
It's not a bad flop for you, but it's not a great flop either. And that may be a little bit worrying. But
Yeah, it was.
You've got to think you've raised, which is absolutely the right thing to do.
Ah, thank you.
Ideally, you would have raised a little bit more.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, it's quite cheap for him to call.
Right. Okay.
It only costs him another 110 to call.
That's a good point,
So
yeah.
he's getting 3 to 1 on that call. So he could call with a straight draw and he wouldn't be far wrong.
Yeah.
So you want to raise a little bit more. But your raise did the job, got rid of him.
Yeah, okay. But maybe a little bit more next time.
A little bit more.
Right.
But yeah, you did the right thing. And obviously, with a pair of kings, you're worried about if he's got a hand like 9-10, for example,
Yeah.
which is a hand he could have because he limped in from early position. So always play back what's happened pre-flop in your brain, because that will allow you to narrow down the hands he could have. So you don't want to mess about in that situation. You got to get rid of him.
Yep.
Or make him make a mistake by calling too big a bet, basically.
Okay. I will bear that in mind.
But you have won the pot.
Hurrah!
You did absolutely the right thing.
Thank you very much.
And you're in second place.
I know, how exciting.
Third place.
Oh. Well, even still, how
So
exciting.
if we stay there, you make the money, and that'd be awesome.
Wouldn't that be nice if that's the way it worked?
Awesome.
If that's the way it worked, that would be lovely. No, I was quite conscious of the fact that I really did need to get into the money as well, because my account is dwindling.
Well, that's because Dr. Tom used it.
I know.
And
it's not even.
Basically blew $50 of your money, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll pay it back to you.
Oh, he already sent me an email and said he was
hell
sorry.
freezes over, yeah. Sorry, that doesn't pay the rent, does it?
No.
You can't take that to your bank.
You can't take that to the bank. I'm gonna have to build it up slowly myself. Right, and I was thinking, 5-6 suited.
Oh, hello.
I know. I thought, you know what?
What's happened here, Karen?
I'm sorry, but I thought maybe I could make a little flutter.
apologise, just
I wanted to make a little flutter, just to see if I could actually push someone
Just
off.
try and make a little flutter.
Oh, don't.
That's gone into the
I haven't.
lexicon.
I've not really played almost any hands, so I figured if I did, but I should have bet more. I think.
You want to make
should have bet more.
a proper raise.
A proper raise, at least 3 times a big blind, and I should have done that.
Now you've got,
but
you've got a straight draw here. 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yep, I do.
And he's only charged you 40.
And at this point, we were on camera as you were talking to Mr. James Browning, and Tilt was going, if you blow me a kiss, I will fold. And I was not going to do it.
This is a really, really good point at which, learning point for the team, at which you can make a semi-bluff.
Right, and I should have done that.
Yeah, but there's no expectation that you would, because he's made a small bet, which means he's probably not too strong.
Yeah.
And
if I'd have made another bet, I probably would have pushed him off.
You would have pushed him off. What you could have done there is you could have raised, and semi-bluff that if you were with us before the break we were talking about, which is a bet where you don't have a made hand, but if you hit the right card, you will make a good hand. So there you had the straight draw.
Yeah.
And a lot of players will, obviously you could throw it away like you did, or a lot of players would call. Actually, most of the time, the correct play in that situation is a raise. Because
I can see that now.
You can see that now?
I wish I could have seen that then.
Oh, it's good that you can see it, because it's not an easy concept to get with, because you haven't got very much. But you immediately ask your opponent the question, do they want to play on?
Yeah.
You also, if they decide to play on, they will probably, this is another important point of the same bluff which we didn't cover. If they do call that raise, they will probably check to you on the next card.
Right.
Which Lansky and Malmeth call buying a free card. Because they will check to you. And so if you don't hit your straight on that card, if you want to, you can check behind them and get the last card for nothing.
Gotcha.
So it's quite a powerful play. And what made that an even better situation was that there was an ace on the flop.
Yeah.
So as we talked about with aces on the flop, he didn't have one. It would have been very hard for him to play on.
I can see that now.
Well, it's not. No,
No,
I'm not saying you made a mistake.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you
no.
made a mistake. It's just a useful play that you can build into your game.
I will do.
Do it.
I like it. I like the idea.
Do it. Do it now. That's my aunt. It's terrible, isn't it?
Is that what you were doing there?
Yeah. when you have to explain, you're in trouble, aren't you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I can't do any impressions.
Really? Not any?
No.
I can't do any either.
Really?
I won't even try because it would just be rubbish.
Yeah. I'll work on one.
Yeah, in the next break, we'll work on some impressions. Just to liven things up a bit.
Just keep those between you and I, to be honest.
Let's not share that. We shouldn't have shared the dancing either.
No.
No.
Still, it's out there now.
Oish. Forever and ever.
So the blinds are at 20 and 40, still early days. You're
We've lost one.
You won one and lost one.
Yeah, and we've lost a player off the table.
Oh, we lost a player, yeah.
So now I'm quite certain I'm not going to go out last, and I'm very happy.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I think I still play far too timidly, I have to be honest, because I'm not raising as much as I should. I'm not risking as much as I should risk, really.
I haven't seen any.
Really? Well, each time I have raised, I probably should have raised more.
Yeah, did you, this is an interesting move by Damn Tilt. Arga doesn't really have anything, and now Goldie, as I like to call him, has made his full house. Did you raise what you intended to raise? That's a weird bet.
Well, I wasn't thinking about it as much as I should have. Yeah, that's my...
I don't understand that, sorry. I don't understand that bet from Goldie.
Right.
It's a massive bet.
Yes.
Explain to me what hand Dan Tilt Arga is going to call him with.
Right.
For almost all his chips.
3 tens.
Maybe.
Yeah?
But he's got a much better chance of getting paid if he bets less. He wants to find an attractive price rather than just pushing in all of his chips.
Yeah, too scary.
It is too scary.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen you. Sorry, just rewind. You probably answered me, and I just got caught by that hand. When you raised, did you intend to raise double the blind, or was that a software panicky fiddly thing, or?
Probably a bit of both, really. It was
Yeah.
a software panicky fiddly thing, and I don't think I was thinking about it as much as I should have.
Okay.
So
I
my
haven't seen
task
you-
for
I
next
haven't seen
time
you-
is to be more conscious of how much I'm raising.
Right. Yeah, because I haven't seen you making mistakes in terms of when you play.
Okay.
I haven't seen you throw any hands you should have played.
Okay. Okay.
Mr. Perfect.
Perfect.
He played in my game last night.
Yeah?
Well, he did better than me.
Ouch.
Almost everyone did.
Oh, these are difficult games. I was going to play a $5 game, but I didn't have $5 left in my account.
Are you joking?
No.
Dr. Tom left you with $2.50.
I think I had $3 or something.
$3?
Yeah. So all I could play was a
You're a
$2.50.
terrible man.
I think they were supposed to have recharged my account, but it just didn't happen.
Oh dear. It's not attractive, is it? Theft. I mean, that's not a good quality
Well,
in a doctor.
especially not much of a bedside manner. I think he probably used mine thinking that he would be able to build it up for me.
I'm sure that was his intention.
I think so.
Quite a good flop for a pair of sevens. Obviously you want to flop a 7, but if you don't, that is a pretty good flop.
Mm-hmm. Now, have a look at what Dan Tilt Arga's going to do with this, because if he has a king in his hand, obviously he's going to be more than happy, but he doesn't, so Golden Jaguar takes the pot. And again, I've got a rubbish hand. Once again.
That's not you getting impatient, is it, Kara?
A little bit.
Really?
This is this is probably where I'm tapping away in the chat box. Going, I got a rubbish hand and I'm not watching what everyone else is doing. Oh, whoops, I should be.
FK just flat calls with the kings, and he may regret that. Because if he'd re-raised, he might have got rid of Goldie. Maybe not, maybe Goldie would have played the ace-queen, whatever, but... see, I just want people to play more aggressively than they do.
Yeah, well...
It's a common theme to my comments, I've noticed. It is hard to be too aggressive at No Limit Hold'em.
Yeah? Well, it's a dangerous thing, but when it works, it really works. Right. Look at me going in with Queen 2, because everyone else is folded behind me, and I'm thinking, Mr. Perfect, you know, I bet you I can push him off this.
Kara,
Thank you.
I'm impressed.
Thank you very much.
Look at you
This
with
is
the
me again
move.
having a little flutter.
Look at you with the move.
Thank you.
That's more than a little flutter, that's like a move.
Thank you. You know what? That was a conscious move. I was pretty proud of that.
Cool.
I was very proud of that. And then I think I probably mucked my cards as well instead of showing them, so nobody could tell what I had.
Well, I think it's usually better not to show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because then they don't know if you've been bluffing or not. So they had
Absolutely.
no idea what I did. I was very excited about that. Mm-hmm. And I've got a fairly, you know, not a substantial stack, but at least it's average. So I'm feeling quite good about that. Very happy.
Yeah.
Just waiting for someone else to go out before me. The blinds have gone up to 40 and 80. I think it was at the next blind stage that everyone started Going a bit crazy, going a bit all in all of a sudden.
Well, the thing that...
Oh, look at me. See? Only 13% of hands played.
nice and tight.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Although, I would say that you haven't...
Really had much,
You haven't
have
had
I?
much. I mean, you
No.
haven't... I haven't seen any hands that you could have played that you didn't, really.
Yeah.
So, you know, you'll hear no criticism from me.
Okay, cool.
Yet. Sorry.
Yet.
That's a joke.
No, that's fair enough. I think, when would you start loosening up? Because this is my question that I was asking Mark, actually, last week when I was playing on the tournament. Sometimes we say in the later stages of the tournament, or as it tends to go on, then you need to loosen up a bit. That's what I've heard. But how do you judge the later stages? Is it based on the blinds or the number of players? Because it's mostly still in here.
Yeah, it's... unfortunately, there's no hard and fast rule. Every single table tournament will be different, so you can't say when the blinds get to this level, loosen up.
Because there were a couple of hands there I was thinking maybe I should have played, like the Queen 10. But it's not a great hand. So.
I think that the important thing is position, because you don't want to play those hands in early position.
Yeah.
Because if somebody raises behind you, you've got to throw them away and you've wasted chips, and you just don't have enough chips to do that.
That's what I was thinking. Excellent.
Cool. But if you're in late position, the chances of somebody raising are much more limited, particularly if people have already limped in. As to when to loosen up, there are lots of factors. Probably the main one is the size of your stack in relation to the blinds. I mean, the bottom line is this: you don't want to loosen up until you have to. Because when we say loosen up, what we mean is playing less good hands.
Yeah.
That's what that means. And, you know, there's nothing romantic about it.
Right.
It's, you know, something that you do because you have to. Or potentially you do it because it's you know, it's money making. But in an ideal world, we'd all play our premium pairs and have a lot less stress in life.
Yeah.
But in these single table tournaments, they're very fast and furious, and you can't just wait for your premium hands.
And then you get raises like this, and...
Well, that's good. I mean, you want that to happen. Sausages and Dam Tilt Arga going to war, neither of them have got a good hand. There's nothing wrong with two players going to war in a single table tournament, because every time somebody gets knocked out, that's good for you.
Yeah.
So obviously here you're rooting for Dam Tilt Arga to win. He needs a king or a 10. There's a 10. He's going to win unless a 9 or a 7 or an ace. 9 or an ace, 7 wouldn't do it. How did he win?
I don't know.
Oh, he got a straight.
Oh, right.
A 5 made him straight as well. I didn't see that 4 at the beginning, yeah. So that's bad news for you. You don't want people to...
No, I remember that. I was thinking...
Damn.
Darn it. Darn it all the heck.
You've got king, queen here.
Yeah.
So if it had got to you, would you have raised? If Dam Tilt Arga had thrown his hand away if he had nothing.
I don't know.
Okay.
Actually, late position, yeah, I probably would have.
Yeah.
I probably would have.
You probably should have.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But, and this is where it happens. At 8160, people in front of me start throwing all in or throwing in large raises, and I started getting a little bit nervous about whether or not I should play the hands. Well, and I knew it was because some of them were short stacked and just wanting to build up their own stacks.
I mean, it looks like it's one of those tournaments where everybody's going to be short stacked soon, because everyone's staying in and the blinds get high.
Yeah.
If somebody's gone all in before you, the bottom line is that you need a very good hand to play it with, because you want to be playing with an edge. So it is very difficult for people going all in before you. I never answer as to when to loosen up. I think that in terms of the blinds in your stack, you don't want to get down to less than 5 times the big blind. Now this is very interesting. Jack 10 suited.
Yeah.
And I think I looked over and you contemplated playing it.
I did.
Yeah.
I was thinking, because I mean, I'm getting well, not short stacked, but I'm conscious of the blinds going up. I'm conscious of my stack going down. But it was bad position, and I just... Bad
position. And you've got 950 chips, and the big blind's 160. So what you've got to ask yourself is, what's your game plan?
Yeah.
Are you just going to call with it? Well, if you call with it, any good player in late position will raise, because they'll see that you've probably got a weak hand. If you raise... Well, you're in the horrible situation now where 3 times the big blind raise is 480.
Yeah, and that's
which is
half
half
my
your
stack.
So you can't make that raise, it's pointless, so you have to push in. Do you really want to push in with Jack 10 when you don't have to?
Yeah. No.
Says the man that went out with Jack 10 last night. I really did.
Oh.
But yeah, you don't want to play that hand in that position.
Okay. Good. I did, because I was contemplating it, and I was trying to go through in my head exactly that. What's my game plan? Where am I at the table? What would I do with this if I get called or raised? You know, so that's good. That's good to know.
You're at the stage of your tournament where basically you're pretty much going to have, when you play, you're going to have to move in.
Yeah.
And so you want a good hand or a good position to do that with. Ooh, tricky situation here.
Big
Ace
blind,
10 in the big blind.
Ace 10, yeah. Watching what everyone else is doing. FK Ace goes all in.
And you passed.
I did. He went all in.
And he called. Good pass.
Thank you. I didn't think I had a strong enough hand to play against someone who's gone all in.
You didn't?
No, even though I knew. I mean, he had a bigger stack than I did anyways. So he wasn't so short stacked that he had to go all in.
Well, it's not a nice situation now, is it? Because you're pretty short stacked. We're talking about when to loosen up. Certainly, if you get to the stage where you've got 4 or 5 times the big blind, that's as low as you want to go.
Yeah.
So if I'd have been talking to you while you're playing, I'd have said, you cannot afford to take the blinds again.
Yeah.
So you need to push your stack in sometime between now and when the big blind gets to you.
Yep.
And the reason for that is you want to push your stack in when you've still got enough chips that there's a chance everyone will fold.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, there are 2 ways to win, and one is to make a bet that no one else wants to match or can't match.
Yeah, if your stack gets too short,
you
that
just
doesn't
lose
exist.
that power.
Yeah, because people will call you. So you're looking to make a move on the next time round. We see Sausages knock out FKA, and you're down to 6 players. Oh, and you found a hand.
I did indeed. I found my hand.
What are you going to do, Great Scott?
Ooh. Let's just wait and see. Oh, hurry up.
Hurry up, we get to me in a minute, it's brilliant.
Oh, look, it's me again.
On the tally.
Oh, I'm excited.
Poker on the tally. And this is you playing with the raise bar.
Yeah, it was.
They've all gone in. Well done, Kara.
Thank you. It was me actually using the little slidey bar going zoop, 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 zoop. It was quite fun. And yeah, there we go.
Now, does anyone play with you here?
I don't.
Okay, so he shouldn't, but he can afford to.
Yeah, and he might think that I'm just faking as well.
He might do, but he makes a good pass. The thing is, if you've got a hand like King 10 against his Ace 4, he's only a tiny favourite. So Ace 4, he doesn't want to play, he doesn't have to play. So you picked up the blinds. That's
so
good
I can
news.
play another round, which is good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm feeling good about that. And I can see that I'm not the shortest stack. I'm fairly close to a few of the other stacks as well. So, I mean, in relation to the other players, I'm not doing too badly.
No, the problem is, of course, is the blinds.
I know, but we all have to deal with the blinds.
You all have to deal with the blinds, and that's why it becomes a pre-flop game now. And if you can ever steal the blinds at this point, it's incredibly valuable because it can make the difference. Because the players are also tightly bunched.
Yeah. And everyone seems to want to do that as well. I mean, everyone's trying to steal the blinds. Is the way it felt, anyways, from being set at the table.
From what I've seen, No 6 Cell, that we've seen before, looks to have quite a good game.
Yeah, he does.
Now, this is interesting. Does it get to you? Were you tempted?
I was tempted. I really was tempted, and I was scared. I'd already done it to him like twice, I think. Pushed him off. Mr. Perfect, and I didn't want to try it again and just get caught out.
Well, the thing there is he's only left himself 400 or 500 chips, so he
would have pushed all in.
Would be more likely to call you.
Yeah.
So I think you couldn't see his hand. You had a stronger hand than, but you obviously weren't to know that.
Yeah.
Ace 4, you can't call with this.
And he's gone all in, Sausages. There's no way.
There's no way.
No way. No way, dude.
And you're down to 630, and the big blind's 320.
It's very scary.
So
at
this is
point.
not good.
And then I got the aces. Oh,
come on the bullets.
That made me very happy. And because now I can push all in and no one's going to think anything of it. They're going to think, they have no idea what I've got.
Absolutely.
And I liked that.
In fact, it's more suspicious if you just call, I think.
Exactly. Because they're going to think, ooh, what's she trying to get?
Yeah. And now these guys are thinking, I could
Do we
knock
believe
out
it?
the Great Scott.
They're thinking it.
They want to do
ooh.
it.
But they will not do it. No, no. Mr. Perfect doesn't want to go up against me again. Golden Jaguar.
Goldie, it's only 300 to call, and the pot's 1,000, so he's getting 3 to 1 on his money, slightly more than that. And you could have, I think he's going to call, because you could have anything. So he's probably better off than 3 to 1. As it happens, he isn't. As it happens, he's in a lot of trouble against your aces.
Yeah.
Oh, he's hit a 4, though. Another 4 or a king.
I know. I was scared here.
I saw you look away.
I know. I couldn't look.
Oh, bless.
And this is when I did my little victory dance. Hooray!
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Look at that. Look at that. Bullets.
Aces.
Pocket rocket.
Bring it home to Puppy.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Girlfriend. So now you've got 14, 20.
Yes.
So that's a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, I've doubled through.
You have.
That's the first time I've ever been able to say that in my life. I've doubled through there.
Doubled through.
Well, I've just doubled through there.
Who the daddy?
I'm the daddy.
No 6L has to call, really, and hits the flush, and Mr. Perfect's going to leave us. And we're down to 5, one of which is Kara.
Yay! I'm still in there.
You're still in there. Now, the problem here is, of course, if the blinds go up, which they will at some point, I've lost track of how many hands we played, then your stack is suddenly very short again.
This is true.
But you're in second place, so you're in good shape compared to the others.
Yeah.
Put yourself in a nice position.
Right, my king 6 there.
Well, do you call? Because I think you should have.
You think I should have? I was a bit nervous there. See, I am a bit of a nervous player still.
Well, it's to be fair, that is a difficult decision, which we'll talk about in a bit.
If I'd been shorter stacked, if I hadn't won through on that last one, then I probably would have pushed all in.
Well, he was all in for 500.
Yeah.
So it would have cost you another 180.
Oh, see, now that's something I need to start considering that. How much more is it going to cost me?
How much more is it going to cost you?
I see he's all in, and I panicked a bit, I think.
Well, that's fair enough. Now you haven't got a good hand, and in the normal course of events, that isn't a hand that you'd want to play.
Okay.
But at this stage of the tournament, what you got to look at is chances to pick up chips.
Yeah.
And that was a good investment for 200 or 300 of your chips.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. I was seriously
You
thinking
thought
about
about that
playing
as
the
well.
7-8 suited. I really was. I was thinking about Mr. Mark Bannon and the 7-8 suited, but I ended up not playing it. I just didn't feel I could do it justice.
Yeah. We're going to freeze Kara's tournament.
Yes,
Hopefully,
we will come back to it, though.
Technicals permitting.
Yes, but if you've seen anything that sparked your interest or you want to talk about anything at all poker related, there's a couple ways to get in touch with us here in the studio. You can text us on 62211. Or indeed send us an email. Send us a question, send us a comment, send us anything really. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk.
Send us a witty vignette.
Ooh, do. Or you can have your say on Poker Night Live. Call 0906 200 7080 and leave us a message or a question. It can be humorous, it can be serious, it's up to you, but make sure you ask whoever pays the bill, because it will cost you just a little bit. I believe it's £1 a minute or some such thing. Some such thing indeed. But you get your voice on the telly.
You do get to listen to Michelle for a bit.
That's true as well, because she's on the message machine. And make sure that you speak clearly, not like I just did, because we need to be able to understand what you're saying. And press hash when you've finished. I believe that's how that works.
Oh, yeah? Cool. I haven't tried it yet, so
No?
I don't know. So you are guaranteed 5th at the moment, right?
Yes,
at
I'm
least
guaranteed 5th.
Pretty solid effort.
But I'm a bit nervous. I've been letting, I haven't been bullied as much in this tournament.
The vibe I got
think.
from you at this point is that you were desperate to make the money, right?
I was desperate.
Desperate.
I really
you
was
would have been
desperate.
a bit gutted, I think, because you got into a reasonable position now.
I know, and I would have been completely gutted. So What are you going to do, though? Now, I've got a bit of a question for you myself, poker-related, Mr. Expert, Nick Wealthall.
Fire at will.
Okay, now I've got a little poker question for the expert myself, because this is something that I've been having trouble with, but also I know we get a lot of emails about this too. So, in the last few tournaments that I've been playing, I have a tendency to get bullied a lot in the game.
Okay.
And I'm not just talking about in the chat box, although really, people should be nicer.
They should. Viewers of the show.
I know. No, they have been lovely.
I was on last night, and there was a lot of bullying.
A bit of back chat in the chat box.
Those people have been told that is the end to their emails being read out.
Ooh, that's harsh.
That's the price you pay, Cara, for loose lips.
Oh, they sink ships. They do. Loose lips do sink
True
ships.
Story.
There we go.
So you get bullied?
I do, and I'm getting having my blinds stolen, and everyone is playing incredibly tight. So I'm obviously trying to play tight as a beginner player. But then if I'm going in with, say, a pair of tens, and a couple of people are raising quite a lot, then, what do I do? Because I know that a pair of tens, well, it's fairly good. It's not fantastic. If I don't have a huge stack, even if I do, I mean, I'm getting bullied off a lot of pots. What should I be doing?
And is this, do you feel that's happening before the flop or after the flop?
I think it's happening a lot before the flop, personally.
Okay.
Once I've gone into it, I think they assume that because of how tight I've been playing, that I've got fairly good cards.
Okay. The first thing is that you may not be being bullied.
Okay.
It may be that you're having a run where when you pick up a hand, somebody else is picking up a hand.
Okay.
That's perfectly possible. What we see a lot in the games is that when people re-raise, is that what we're talking about? They re-raise before the flop. If people re-raise, they very rarely have nothing. It's actually done until you're dealing with actually pretty good players. It's rarely done as a move before the flop, a re-raise. So a lot of the times they will have a hand. Now, the question is, do they have a really good hand or just an okay hand, and they're not judging their hand values brilliantly?
Right.
So say you're sitting there with a pair of tens and you get re-raised. Are they doing that with king-queen because they think it's a good hand, in which case you're slightly ahead, or are they doing it with a premium pair like a pair of queens, in which case you're in all sorts of trouble?
Yeah.
It's difficult because a lot.
How much money?
I know, Nick. I know it's difficult.
This is difficult. How much money should I be putting in?
Well, the problem is that you don't want to be calling for a lot of your chips.
No, I don't.
As discussed. We all know that. And if somebody re-raises you, it puts you in that situation where you have to decide if you are going to call for a lot of your chips. So a lot of the time you want to throw your hand away.
Yeah.
But in a tournament situation, there's only so much that you can do. There's only so many times you can throw away your cards when you have these hands, because you're only going to get so many hands, especially in a one-table tournament. The key is to be the aggressor. The key is to be the bully. And the one infallible way to stop somebody re-raising you before the flop is to put your chips in. And that will discourage people. People are only likely to call an all-in bet if they have a significant hand themselves. That brings with it its own problem, because the only times that you will get called are when you're in serious trouble. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, but that's one thing to consider. And Cara and Bernie and everybody else, I would say, if you get down to, let's say, 6 or 7 times the big blind, actually maybe even slightly more, you don't want to make a 3 times the big blind raise, because it's a pointless act. Because if somebody comes over the top of you, you're going to have to call, because you've got so much of your money in there. You're pot committed, as they say, and you're getting 3 to 1 off that pot, so you have to call. So you should go all in the first place. So that's the first thing, Cara. You should, if you get down to about 7 times the big blind, just push all your chips in anyway.
Okay.
And that stops people coming over the top of you. That is a concept that you can apply in other situations when you've got a bigger stack, if you're worried about people coming over the top of you, if you're worried about people bullying you.
Right.
People stealing your blinds is a very different thing, and I would really strongly advise you not to worry about people stealing your blinds. The attitude you have to your blinds is that you have to pay them. It's going to come around every time. There's nothing we can do about it. Once the money's been paid for the blind, it's gone. And you're out of position, you're in early position, so you don't really want to be playing a hand through the streets in that position. And if somebody seals your blind, you have to say, well, good luck to them. The option is, if you've got plenty of chips, is to make a stand at some point. If somebody's doing it a lot and you think they've got a bad hand, and you pick up a little bit of something, push all your chips in, see if you can scare them off. But in the main, try not to worry about it too much.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to be thinking about that through the break. because we are going to a break right now, but we will be back very soon. I'm going to be having a little think about not having my blinds stalled. I don't know about you. Right, we'll see you again very soon.
Punch bullies on the nose. That's right.
Hello and welcome back to the last hour here, Poker Night Live,
Already.
Amateur Night. I know, it's gone so fast, but I say that every time we work together. It's just gone so fast.
It's been a lot of fun, but it's not over.
Oh no, no, it's not
Lots in this
over.
hour, isn't there?
No, there really is. You get the final of my tournament.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the final of the MTT.
Cool.
And we've got loads of emails to get through because people have been very kindly sending in emails. So we will get to everything,
Okay.
hopefully. So let's dive straight into my tournament.
Cool. Where were we? 5 players were there left? Yes.
Yes.
And the blind's now 163.20.
Yeah, bit of a gulp there. Ooh, no. All right, gonna have to do something soon.
And no 6L tries his little trick that's worked before of double the blind raise to steal Sausage's blind, but this time Sausages defends.
And Sausages has a hand, unlike, well, now that no 6L's seen the flop, he does have a pair of queens. Right, so there we go. We got a pair of kings for no 6L. Let's see what he does with that. Probably again going to take the blinds. And he's thinking about it because Tilt has put in all in fact. And they're going head to head on this. And I think we might need to say goodbye.
Well, you're obviously delighted, aren't you, sitting in your
My
seat.
lofty tower.
And now you've made the bubble.
Oh, and I got so excited at this point. I think I bubble dance.
But worried that you were going to go out on the bubble?
Yes. Although I was thinking, at least I've done better than my last one.
Difficult decision you had there, which you made very
missed it.
fast. But it cost you 200 with an awful hand, and Golden Jaguar was all in for the big blind.
Uh-oh, did I do something wrong there?
I don't know. Not straightforward. Sausages now is all in. Obviously, you're hoping and praying that somebody goes to war with him.
Oh, totally.
Well, no 6L must do, because it's only going to cost him another 200. He does.
Yeah.
And you're cheering for a king or a 7.
Come on, come on.
No!
Nope. So Sausages is now stacked quite nicely.
Well, this looks bad for you, because you're
It
going to have to
does.
take the big blind in the next hand.
It's a bit scary. And I probably should have played that as well.
No, well...
Queen
I-
6.
No,
Golden Jaguar's
no, you
gonna
shouldn't
win.
have played Queen 6. I'll tell you why in a sec.
Okay.
Golden Jaguar, thank goodness, had a hand, because that means he played. And he's losing.
Yep.
And he lost. You're in the money!
I'm in the money!
Come on.
Get in! Very excited.
Eye of the chaffinch.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The eye of the chaffinch.
And you're all in for the big blind. So now
Yeah. I'm all in for the big blind. I had to push all in because, obviously, my stack was smaller than the big blind. And there we go. I think, as you can
No
see,
option.
that is my last hand. But I made it into the money, and I was so proud of myself.
very cool.
So proud of myself.
Rightly so.
Thanks.
That's only like your 3rd tournament.
I know, ever.
And you've literally gone 7th, 5th, 3rd.
Yeah,
Which means next time,
I'm coming first.
you're coming first.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow, fantastic.
I know. You know what? I'm just aglow with pride.
You should be.
That was so much fun to do as well. It's nice to have been just... It's also nice just to get the chance to actually play quite a few hands of poker, or more so, by staying in the tournament longer. Because I do feel like I need just to play and play and play and play and get
Yeah.
used to the whole thing. So yeah, that was wicked.
You enjoyed it.
I did, very much so. And everyone, again, was so nice in the chat box and whatnot, and people who were watching. So thank you all very much for that. It was fun.
I so need to know how to get that kind of PR.
I think you have to look a little helpless.
Really?
I think they're quite, yeah.
And just be nicer generally.
Maybe that's it, really. It might just be the
I
niceness.
guess you reap what you sow, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, no offence to Sausages, but I think no 6L has played this single table really well, so I'm going to hope he wins it.
I know how it finishes. I'm not going to tell you.
You had some interesting decisions towards the end there, because you're playing a small stack with a big blind. It's very tough.
Yeah.
You've got to make decisions very quickly. And you said you should have played the Queen 6.
Yeah, maybe I should have.
And you shouldn't have played the Queen 6, because lots of reasons why. You only had enough chips to pay the big blind. You had 620 chips, and the blind was 640. So you can't knock anyone out.
Right.
Right? So that option is gone from your arsenal.
Yeah.
So if you play a hand, you're playing for your tournament.
Yeah.
The next player to go out is the bubble, obviously. So you're desperate for someone else to go out. In this case, Golden Jaguar did, because he had the pair of 8s, which was great for you. So you don't want to play until you have to, because you've only got the big blind.
Yeah.
Unless you pick up a significantly better hand than an average hand, and Queen 6 isn't.
Gotcha.
So you did the right thing by not playing it.
Okay. So again, not just position on the table, but position in the tournament.
Yeah, this is a skill that just develops with experience of playing different tournaments and playing tournaments a lot, which is, you know, it is a completely contextual game.
Yeah.
And there are times when you would stick your stack in with Queen 6. Not many, but there are times. Looks like this is all over. No. Ooh.
Saved from the brink, pulled back from the precipice.
Yeah, only 3 queens could have done that.
Yep, and now Sausages is in the lead. And No 6L has gone all in. And now No 6L's back in the lead. And it went like this for a bit.
It's mental, this heads up malarkey.
Oh, I say. Yep.
Well, that's a strong play by Sausages with a bad hand. And No 6L does call. Wow.
Yeah.
Split pot, maybe? Any card higher than the 7, it's a split.
Yeah.
It is a split.
So it saves him to fight another day.
Yeah, Sausages almost out, and did
I wonder
survive.
what they were thinking at that point. I want to win, I want to win, I want to win.
That's what they were thinking,
Probably
no
was.
doubt. They were thinking, I can't believe we beat Clara.
They're probably thinking, how the heck did she get into the final 3?
They're thinking, how the heck did she not get into the final 2?
Ah, yes.
Sausages calls with the Queen 2, and he's got the best hand, bizarrely. And that Queen is going to win him the hand, and could be the decisive hand.
It certainly has turned the fates have swung in Sausages' favour.
Yes. Nice link. That was far too subtle. No 6L is all in with the ace this time, so he's got a big advantage. You're right, this is backwards and forwards. Oh, the 2.
And there it is.
Well, I think No 6L can count himself a little bit unlucky, but well done to Sausages. He is our winner. That was a good satellite. Satellite, I always call them satellites. It's a good single table tournament.
Yeah, I think so. And it was so much fun to play. Yay. And
Well
there you
done
go.
to Kara.
Thank you very much.
Well done you. Awesome.
And well done
Awesome.
everyone who played.
You're improving at quite a scary rate.
Well, there will come a time when it just probably nosedives.
That's the
next
spirit.
week in our live game. It's a whole new thing.
No,
in a
but
live
you've clearly
game.
got, I mean, we're talking about, you know, beginning poker and learning and different other thinking. You've clearly got your hand values completely sorted. You know, strength of hands and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You've got a good grasp on the context of the tournament, I think.
Okay.
And you've picked up on the main thing you need to do, just be a little bit more aggressive when you play. And then there's a couple of situations towards the end which caught you out, which are very, very difficult, which is when you should call with a bad hand you wouldn't usually call with, but because it's near the end of the tournament, the blinds are big, you should call, and this kind of thing. And that'll take a bit of time to get a handle on.
Yeah, I think so. But in the main, I feel quite proud of myself.
You should do. Fantastic.
Yeah. Thanks to everyone who played against me. Again, thank you to those of you who gave up your seats on the tournament so that I could sit down. I do really, really appreciate it.
That's cool.
And I did ask a question earlier, and that question was, what is the one thing that you wish that you'd known when you first started playing poker, that you've since learned, but that you wish that you'd known at the beginning? And I've had an email in from Jas the Ace. Jas the Ace was also on the table there. Said the thing that would have helped my game would have been seeing other people's cards. Yeah, well, that would help mine as well. Seriously though, I would like to have known about position the most, and I'm learning it now thanks to your show. And then he says, P.S. I used to like Kara before she danced. Yeah, well, I think I may have lost a lot of viewers there.
Oh, how can you not have liked the dance?
That wasn't meant for public consumption. Thank you very much. That was a private little, just me having a little dance.
I mean, don't
people in the
do
gallery
it on
put
camera,
it on telly.
is the tip.
Yeah, well, the camera wasn't on as far as I knew. But hey.
First rule of broadcast, Kara, the camera is always on.
Yeah, see? I'm learning a lot tonight. That's all I'm saying. Learning a lot. Right, we have one more question here. This one is from Garbet. Garbet says, hi, my question is, I'd like to hear or know how you can justify a call using pot odds before the flop with a bad hand like 6-8 off suit. Bit of a complicated one for an amateur night, but let's muddle through it. Would you have to work out the odds of hitting both cards to have a good chance to win, for example? Also, I'm just wondering how you work out odds of winning with non-paired cards in general. It's easy to work out odds for things like small pairs, like 4-4, as it's always about 7.5 to 1 odds of flopping a set on the flop. But let's say you have Jack 10 suited, where you can hit all the different types of hand available. How on earth do you work out what your odds are winning before before the flop? Thanks very much for your help. Whew, odds question.
This is genuinely true. I was actually sitting here thinking, God, that's a tricky one to answer. I don't know. Pity the poor fool who has to do it.
Yeah, that's your job.
Yeah, that's my job. Thanks for the email, Garbet. It doesn't quite work how you've sort of. I'm going to question your premise. It doesn't quite work how you've set it out there in your email. When we talk about the odds of hitting a set being 7.5 to 1, we're not talking about the pot odds. Pot odds are something very different, as I think you know from your email, but you've then used the example of hitting a set, and that's not really a pot odds thing. It's really the odds of return, I guess. We don't, as poker players, think of needing a specific amount of return from the pot in a pre-flop situation to play a certain hand. That isn't really the way it works. What you're looking at is getting the right conditions to justify playing a hand. And that's really the premise, because very often in poker, the right way to think is to look for a reason not to play rather than a reason to play. As we know, very few hands actually make a profit. You need to be very selective. So you're looking for reasons not to play these hands, and there are usually many. For example, if someone raises beforehand, you don't want to play because you're almost certainly behind. Now, to put it in the terms that you've used in your email, let's say take the hand that you've used, which is 8-6 offsuit. If somebody raises before the flop, you have to call that raise. In terms of the rate of return, it's basically even money, isn't it? Because somebody's raised, you have to match that raise. Now, they, having raised, will almost always have a much better hand than 8-6, so you won't be even money to win the hand, which is why it's a bad move to call. Now, what you've then asked is, what odds do you need to make that call? And that's where it becomes very murky. And the reason it becomes very murky is that it's not just dependent on what money goes in before the flop, it's dependent on what you'll win after the flop if you hit your hand. So this is a mistake that people make with a set. They say, well, to make my set is 7.5 to 1 on the flop, and so therefore I need X amount of money in the flop to call, well, in the pot to call. It doesn't really work like that, because what determines whether or not it's a good call is what you will win after the flop. So, to sum up, I hope you followed this through, because it's a really kind of difficult area. To sum up, the way that 8-6 offsuit, which you'd almost never play actually, so Jack 10 is the other hand you use, that's a better example. The way that Jack 10 becomes playable is if you stand to win enough money after the flop when you play it. And that can be a lot of different conditions. It can be 5 people in the pot, or it can be heads up with a weak player. But what you're really looking at is, do you have a positive expectation when you play the hand, not the amount of money that's in the pot when you call pre-flop. I hope that makes sense. Obviously, kind of a little bit in depth for a beginner's night. But what I was trying to get at was the way that you sort of understood the premise, which wasn't quite right, because we don't quite think in those terms. We actually think about the conditions globally, number of players, who the players are, as well as the price pre-flop. And the key is what you will win after the flop. That's the key as to whether a hand's playable or not.
Right.
Yeah, don't worry if you didn't follow that, because I didn't. I was talking about it.
I got most of it.
All of the right answers were in there.
Just mix and match, piece them
match.
together.
Yeah.
And you'll find a big ball of poker knowledge.
It was difficult because the way Garbett had kind of phrased it wasn't exactly how we'd approach it. But yeah, these lesser hands become playable when you're getting a good return from the flop, and it really comes down to judgment at the end of the day, because what you're trying to judge is, will I get paid off if I make my hands? Because at the time you put your money in before the flop, you very often haven't got the best hand. There's a lot more detail to it. I give a lot more examples, but I'm not going to.
And that's that.
We've spent enough time.
Okay.
I hope that helps, Garbett. If I haven't answered your question, please come back to me with another email. If I've missed the point of what you were trying to get at, then do come back. That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Right, we're going to go straight back to our MTT and take a look at what is happening down there. We're down to the last 6 players, I believe. And here they are, final 6 players. A couple of our familiar names there. Battling it out.
Yeah. Really, all these 6 players have done fantastically, because we started off with 260 odd from memory.
Loads.
We started out with loads.
259 entrants.
259, not bad memory.
Nope.
So these 6 players have beaten 253 competitors.
That's true. They've got all 388,500 chips in play at this table between the 6 of them.
And what could they win, Cara?
Ooh, in first place, they could take home $712. And in second prize, $453. Third prize, $297. Fourth, $207. Fifth, $155. And sixth place, the next person to go out takes home $116.
Lovely.
Thanks. My mouth isn't working as well as it should, but there you go.
Over-enunciating syllables. First slope is all in, but survives. Was always ahead. And as we said a little while ago, Scope, who had 60,000 in chips when the blinds were, I can't remember, 500,000, very small, hasn't made it to the final 6. And that's the nature of No Limit Hold'em in multi-table tournaments. You can have a big stack 1 minute, you can be out the next if you don't play it right. Enterprising check raise by Jack Alley. It's a good play. I wish he'd put in a little bit more money. I like a check raise on the flop from the big blind. I think it's a great play as one to add to your poker game. But if you're going to do it, check raise for more than that, because he made it too cheap for Top Honcho to play. Luckily for him, Top Honcho didn't have anything. But it's a good move to make.
Something to remember.
Something to remember. Yeah, another one.
Remember. So much to remember.
So much to remember. The poker was summed up for me by my poker mentor in America, whose catch saying when he talked about poker, he could only talk about poker for so long before he'd pause and go, you know what, Nick, in order to play poker, you have to do a lot of things well. And then he'd pause and he'd go, a lot of things. Like that.
I like it.
And he was right.
Right, we have a question from someone at home now, I believe.
Hello.
Hello.
Now, I tried this with Michelle and Casper the other night, and they weren't having it either. You're supposed to say hello back, guys.
I did.
Hello.
Hello.
Get on with it.
Tara, watch the single table tournament. You rock. What a great tournament you had. A bit unlucky at the end there.
Ah, well.
Sorry, Nick. Don't get you two mixed up. Nick, thanks
Hello.
for bigging me up, mate. I tried to be on your side last night about the single table tournament.
One of the few.
You had a good game, but what can
This
I
must
say?
be Trev.
Everyone was
It
feeling
is.
a bit
Yeah,
unlucky in
okay.
the chat box there. The only question I got is, where is
the big, tragic Trev, what's in the whole jingle. It's got to be done. Got to be. It's just gone. Please bring it back. Everyone in the chat boxes is getting, they want it, don't they? They want it. So if you can, we want to hear the tragic Trev jingle for what's in the hole.
Oh, thanks very much, Tragic Trev. It's always good to hear from our regular viewers and players as well.
It is.
Thank you
I can't
for
believe we
that.
give him so much airtime.
I think it's fantastic.
Anyway, it's a beautiful thing.
I think we're going to have to stop playing the jingle altogether, though, Tragic Trev, because it inspires a little bit of dancing that just doesn't really work. Right, another question I believe there is.
Is there?
There is, indeed. Here we go.
What's in the hole? What's in the hole? What's in the hole? What's in the hole? I say, what's in the hole? What's in the hole? I said, what's in the hole? What's in the hole? What's in that hole?
What's in the hole, indeed?
I hope you've enjoyed Poker Night Live at home. We've had a good run.
I like
Obviously,
it.
we won't be here tomorrow night.
Oh, I love
After
that.
that.
That was great. Thank
was
you,
awesome.
Tragic Trev.
Well played, Tragic Trev.
The rest of you, watch what's in the hole and try to figure out what's in the hole.
We've peaked, haven't we, as a show now?
It's all downhill.
It is downhill from there. Or it was downhill. You loved that, didn't you?
I did. I don't think I can breathe.
Oh my God.
Oh, that was fab.
So text in. What's in the hole?
Yes, text the word hole to 62211 if you know what's in the hole. And if you appreciated that jingle just as much as I did.
That's impossible.
It kind of
What's
is.
in the hole?
Oh.
What's in the hole? What's in the hole? I say, what's in the hole? What's in the hole? I said, what's in the hole? What's in the hole? What's in that?
That's brilliant. That really is. That is brilliant. Well
Thanks,
done.
Trev. You're a beautiful, if disturbed man. Good luck with everything. That's unbeatable, isn't it?
It is.
And we've commissioned someone to write a jingle for that segment as well, and now we've got to cancel it.
Yeah, why? We've got gold. Pure Tragic Trev gold.
I think he should do like theme tunes for other things.
Oh,
Like, he could have gone, Titanic, Titanic. It works, doesn't it?
It does.
For your ever-changing moods.
Oh, I love
Oh dear.
it.
The Tragic Trev show. Can't believe it.
It's fantastic. Right. Well, I'd wipe my eyes. We have to go back to the MTT. Oh, and we've entered at an exciting point here.
It's a bit much for you, isn't it?
Oh, it really was.
You've had a lot to deal with tonight. It's been an emotional time and
A roller coaster
a
ride.
roller coaster ride.
The joy of that is just unspeakable.
It's unspeakable.
I love it.
And relax.
Properly cried there, I think.
You did. You actually cried. I mean, I was crying too, but for other reasons.
It's ruined my eye makeup. Oh, Tragic Trev.
Well, weird move by Taruva Myler. I say weird move, that's really harsh. He made a move to try and take the pot down, nothing wrong with that. I rescind my use of the word weird. Unfortunately, he ran into a big hand, and he's out in sixth.
Out in sixth.
Out in sixth.
Right, now while we are watching this, I'm going to read you an email.
Are you?
As we watch avidly the MTT.
Oh, that's multitasking, Cara.
You're up for the challenge, I'm
All right.
sure of it.
All right.
All right.
All right.
This one's
For
from
you.
Ollie. For me, thank
I will,
you.
yeah.
You do have to work really hard, don't you? I feel for you. I
Yeah,
feel your
it's-
pain. My
it's
heart
hell.
bleeds.
Uh-huh.
It's tough being you. Email from Ollie.
Well, I never get to spend time with me, that's the harshest thing.
Oh.
I know.
Yeah, you really need to take some time off just for you. Some you
Yeah,
time.
That's right.
Ollie says, hi guys, do you think there's more money to be made at 6-seater tables rather than 10-seaters at levels varying from $1 and $2 to $2 and $4? I'm a regular 10-handed player and have found it difficult to adjust. Do you think it's possible to make a profit playing a really tight game in 6-seater tables? And how much should you loosen up? And that's from Ollie.
Absolutely no idea. Top Honcho wins. He had to win. He stays alive. I have got an idea. That was flippant. You can't play a really tight game in a 6-seater table, no. That will not get you the money. You'll be pushed around and the blinds will eat you up, and no, you can't play really tight. You must adjust. You need to adjust because lots of reasons. It's statistically less likely a good hand will be out. Oh, and Top Honcho is going to get called here and won't like it. Big hand versus big hand. And that's all they wrote for Top Honcho. 5th place. Good finish.
Good finish indeed.
But not in the big money.
But still in the money.
You need to loosen up. You don't need to loosen up hugely. There's still 6 players. The shorter-handed it becomes, I think position becomes very important. So you want to play position when you're 6-handed. You want to play more aggressively, and you want to play a few more hands. Short-handed games, hands like small pairs and suited connectors become less valuable. Hands with high cards, unconnected high cards like King 10 that you wouldn't normally like become more valuable. So maybe add a few hands like King 10, Ace 9, that kind of hand when you're in position in 6-seater games. You wouldn't play in 10-seater games. As to where you can make more money, that really depends on the games. Depends on your game, depends on the games. In a 6-seater table, you'll win and lose money faster because you're putting your money in action more often, but you won't necessarily make or lose money faster. That depends on... Sorry, you will make or lose money. Oh, hello. You will make and lose money faster. Whether you make or lose more money in terms of your win rate is a completely different question, and that depends on your level of play compared to the game, how your style's suited and that sort of thing. But if you're having trouble playing in the 6-seater games because your style's not suited to it, then don't play in them. Play in the 10-seater. Well, it's that simple. There's no obligation to play in them, and you're not missing out on streets paved with gold if you don't play in them. Well, that's the sense I get from his email.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, he doesn't need to worry about it if he's not having success in the 6-seaters.
Just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Just say no. Just say no. You got another jingle for that, I'm sure.
Can't sing that one.
Nope.
Copyrighted.
Yep.
J.A. Callie has flopped the flush draw, and this is a good time for a semi-bluff, which we've talked about a bit tonight, and he makes one. But again, probably hasn't bet enough. We're seeing this a lot tonight. People making the right moves, but not making them strongly enough.
Gotcha. Yeah, that is something I'm certainly going to watch for.
Well, the problem is you might as well not make the bet, because it loses its meaning, and it can be even worse than that, because what you can be doing is you can be making it correct for people to call, because you're giving them good pot odds by betting a small amount.
So you're actually inciting things to happen that you don't want to have happen.
That's right. Nice situation for 1, 2, 3, getting ace-king on the button. It will look like a steal when he raises, but he's actually got a real hand. Nobody's going to play with him, though. You want to do another email, don't you? I can feel it in your whole demeanour.
Well, I just don't want to miss out on them. I'm conscious of the fact that, you know, people take the time to email in. We should definitely give them, you know, the respect to read it out.
I just think you're too nice for this game of poker, Cara.
Really? For this whole malarkey?
With the exception of you and Tragic Trev, people in poker are pretty horrible, selfish individuals.
Say that's not true.
I'm just talking about the Poker Night Live experts, to be fair.
Yeah, the people that sit behind the table.
That's right.
Well, as you're talking about stealing blinds, let's read a question about stealing blinds.
Oh, okay, lovely.
Okay. An email from Simon says, I play MTTs and free rolls, which consist of an average between 3,000 and 7,500 runners. I've come 4th, 5th, and always placed in the top 100. Well done. What I need to know is how to play the latter stages in a tournament where the blinds are high. I'm short stacked, below average stack size, and can't make plays to steal the blinds as I always get caught. Thanks, guys, and keep up the great job. So, what does he do? How does he play in these latter stages of the tournament when his stack is short and he can't seem to make those kind of plays that are going to be meaningful? He doesn't have enough chips to be meaningful.
Well, that's the answer, isn't it? If he hasn't got enough chips to be meaningful, then he's in a serious problem.
What would you do?
Well, there's nothing he can do
No?
when it gets to that point.
Okay. to try not to get to that point?
Well, this is it. If you, it sounds like a stupid answer, but it's the truth of the situation. If you've got to the point where you can't make a raise, and we talked about this when we're looking at your single table tournament. If you get to the point in any tournament where you can't make a raise that is scary to the other players, then you're in trouble because you've lost one of your two ways to win. You can't scare people off. You can't win without the cards. So basically, you're then just waiting for the best hand you can find before the blinds eat you up completely, and you shove your stack in, and that's all you can do. You're out of options. So the advice, Simon, is to make moves before you get to that point. I mean, I don't know why I'm giving you advice, actually. If you're playing in tournaments with 3,000, 7,500 players, and you come 4th, 5th, and always place in the top 100, you don't need much help, mate. You really, you're obviously doing something right, and you, providing you can afford it, you should probably be playing in cash tournaments, because that's a great record. But that's the key to it. That's the key to success in multi-table tournaments. Don't let your stack get smaller than it should be, and people wait too long in multi-table tournaments to make their move.
Okay.
You never want to be below 5 times the big blind. You actually want to start making moves when you're 10 times the big blind or less.
Okay.
Because then you can still make an intimidating bet. And you can still steal the blinds, and you can still make other moves. It doesn't have to be a blind steal. People sometimes get locked into just blind stealing.
So it makes a difference as to what you want to do as well, whether you have your eyes on the top prize or you just want to move one rung up the ladder. Because there's always that kind of bubble situation in an MTT at the final table.
Yeah, there is. And that's a more complex area, because sometimes it becomes very situational. Sometimes it may be right to just hang on. And
let one person get knocked out because you can bump up to the next level.
But in general, in the play of a game, you do want to not get yourself to that point, because at that point that Simon's talking about, you're out of options. You're done, basically.
Okay. All right, well, let's take a look and see how the people in the MTT that we're looking at tonight are doing with this exact situation.
We have skipped a bit of the tournament, guys, and we've done that for your benefit. Basically, it's a long tournament, and we want to show you the end, so we skip forward to the heads up. I'm told that 1, 2, 3 came 4th, and Jack Ali came 3rd, and these two are battling for first place of $712, 453 for second. So effectively, they're both guaranteed second. This is a battle for $259. Bit of heads-up action for you, Kara.
Well, yeah, because we don't want to miss the actual finish of the tournament either. So we did have to, like you say, skip forward just a bit.
First leg with a chip advantage, but not a decisive advantage. And the blinds are not threatening enough so that Baggy's ace has to panic. He can work his way back. He doesn't need to make big moves unless he gets a good chance. Well, two good hands here in heads-up terms, so this could be a confrontation. Any ace is a big hand heads up, and King 10 suited is a good hand heads up. They both missed on the flop, so whoever is more aggressive will probably take this.
And again, like you said before, aggression is very key.
And becomes more key the fewer players there are.
Right.
Because it becomes less about the cards, because the chances of there being good cards are less. And in the absence of that, it becomes about who represents the cards.
So it's nerves. Nerves of steel will win out here.
Yes.
Okay.
Kahunas. And that is a very enterprising check raise, very impressive check raise by Baggy's ace.
Well done, Baggy's ace.
And heads up is the game to play if you get frustrated by being patient in poker, because
yes.
If you get frustrated by having to be patient, and if you don't want to play solid, you want to make lots of moves, well, sit down in some heads up cash games, because that's where you should be.
But I imagine a lot of money changes hands in heads up cash.
Well, yeah, it changes hands quickly as well. Yeah.
You'd have to really have nerves for that.
You would.
Yeesh. I think I'd
Yeesh,
have my
indeed.
heart in my mouth just thinking about it. 3 twos on the board.
Well, first slope should have probably bet this flop. It's a good flop for him with an ace high. And Baggy's ace looks like he's the more aggressive of these two players. and now very difficult for him to call. And Baggy's ace has taken back the chip lead, and he's done it without having the hands. The last 2 pots he's won, hasn't had a thing.
Okay, so
he's
it's
done
the
it with
aggression.
bluster.
Ah, bluster. Bit of blunderbuss.
Bit of British spunk.
Ah, yes.
He may not even be British. That's just the quality that he's representing.
Is it?
Yeah.
That infamous Churchill bulldog
Churchillian
bluster.
slightly drunk bluster.
Which at the time of night we're looking at right now, it just might be.
Oh, do you remember when Charles Kennedy came out and said, yeah, I'm alcoholic, etc., etc., etc. I said, oh, well, you can't be leader then.
Really?
Our greatest leader of all time,
Yeah.
Churchill, massive alcoholic. He was. Drunk most of the time. Didn't harm him, did
Nope.
it?
Didn't harm
I mean,
the
it
nation.
did, physically, obviously, but not.
Didn't harm the nation.
Didn't harm the
though.
nation.
That's what we're looking at.
Bit of Dutch courage. What's wrong with that when you're making key decisions?
Yeah, well, I don't
No?
really know how to respond to that, really.
I'm just hypothesising.
Uh-huh. Jack 10, now that's a good hand to have.
It's
Heads up?
okay. It's okay. It loses. It's okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
better than average. Heads up's all about high cards.
Right.
So you'd rather have King 4 than Jack 10.
Okay.
Pretty much any time you'd rather have King 4 than Jack 10.
Okay. Because, yeah, a lot of the time it's a high card that wins. Is that
Yeah,
the case?
well, King 4 is ahead of the vast majority of hands
Mm.
when it's one hand against one hand.
Okay.
So King 4 is quite a bad example because it's quite a bad hand, but I'm using an extreme example to make the point. You'd definitely rather have King 8 than Jack 10, whereas in most games, most other Hold'em situations, 6 or 7 players, you'd rather have the Jack 10.
Mm-hmm.
So the hand values change a little bit.
Okay.
People get very confused about small pairs in heads up.
Mm-hmm.
They're not a good hand.
No?
No.
Why is that, though? Because a pair is a good hand. It's better than, nothing.
Well-
I would have thought it would be better than an ace high.
Definitely not. It's better than
Really?
ace high, no. Heads up, no.
Hmm.
For lots of reasons. Do you want some of them?
I would like some of them, yes. And now would
It's
be
the
nice.
old. Well, small pairs are really not that great a hand in any. Oh, let's just watch this. Pair of 9s versus King 7. And he's gone all in with the 9s.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right thing to do?
I don't know really. I mean, I play heads up a specific way, and I never go all in before the flop unless I have to.
Right.
Unless I'm short stacked, obviously.
Even heads up.
Well, heads up, yeah, I would
Yeah.
just make a normal raise if I was going to raise.
Okay.
But some people do go all in when they play heads up a lot. Small pairs are bad heads up because you'll never. Your best case scenario is you're a slight favourite.
Mm-hmm.
A pair of 4s against a hand like, for example, King Queen is a slight favourite, but only slight, very slight, and that's your best case scenario.
Your best case scenario, King Queen, to go up against a King Queen. I
No,
would
no,
have thought it-
to be a slight favourite is your
Oh,
best
right,
case
okay.
scenario. You can't be a big favourite,
Yeah.
so you're never going to have a big
Okay.
edge. The real thing about that is it doesn't have to be King Queen. Your opponent could have, say, this hand 6-9,
Right.
and it's the same odds. You're just a slight favourite,
Mm.
so they really don't dominate anything. The other problem is the same problem in a full ring game with small pairs, which is after the flop they play terribly because what do you do once the flop comes down? You may be winning, but it's very hard to know. And
Yeah.
an interesting fact for your fact bank,
Ooh,
Jack
yes.
10 suited is a favourite against a pair of 2s, for
Okay.
example. It's one of those weird statistical quirks,
Huh.
apropos of very little.
But good to know,
Good to know.
nonetheless.
I have absolutely no problem with throwing away small pairs heads up.
Okay.
The alternative is to try and get in cheaply and try and hit a set. If you hit a set heads up, obviously it can be golden because you can take all of the other guy's chips. But I think people do think that they're valuable heads up, and they're really not that great.
Okay. Yeah, that does surprise me, I have to say. I would have thought that a pair would be better than basically nothing in your hand.
Once
Than
you
a
get
high
into
card.
once you get into the middle pairs,
Ooh, he's gone all in.
yeah, he's got the middle pair, and he doesn't believe that Baggies has got the top pair, and that's a
No.
good move, good read. He's adjusted because Baggies was being very. Is it Baggies or Raggy? Yeah, Baggies was being very aggressive, and First Slope's taken a stand there. Good to see. Good to see. Once you get up to sort of a pair of 8s, maybe a pair of 7s, definitely a pair of 8s, pair of 9s, they start to be good hands because you're almost always ahead. The only things, obviously, that have you in trouble are bigger pairs, which is very unlucky if you come up against one.
Right.
You'll get a lot of hands where somebody will call you with a hand like ace-6 or something, and you actually got a decent edge. So yeah, once the pairs start getting bigger, yes, then they are good hands heads up, but the little pairs, not so much.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'll remember that.
Have you ever played heads up?
No.
You'll enjoy it when you do.
I certainly
You'll enjoy it when you
will.
do. Very
I'll tell
different.
ya.
Very different.
I certainly will.
Well, we're enjoying this heads-up final of the multi-table tournament. Still quite competitive, and as you'll know if you've watched before, the thing about heads-up no limit is it could go on backwards and forwards for ages, or it could end in one hand.
It could. It's hard to know.
Yeah. Which is a nightmare if you're trying to schedule a TV show.
Oh, I tell you, it really is. You think that they'd have a bit more, I don't know, consideration.
It looks easy
really.
to the viewer, I know that. But
it's complicated.
complicated.
Let us tell you, it is very complicated. It is. And we have a couple of emails left as well to get through. People still wanting more of your poker gold.
I don't know why they do after my reply to Garbutt's email, but there we are.
I don't know. I think you know you're harsh but fair. Not so bad.
Not so bad.
You know, as teachers go, it's a good quality to have. Harsh but fair.
Pair of 10s is a very big hand, heads up.
Right, as we're looking at this, I'm going to read you an email from Colin. Oh, but
Do
not
the
at the
email,
moment.
2 secs. Big decision for Aggies. He's made the move, and he's picked the wrong hand to do it on because First Slope's got a real hand. And now he has to pass, and look at that, that's a big
Ouch.
pot. Baggy's picked the wrong time to move. What's Colin want to know?
Well, Colin says, "Hi, Kara and Nick. I really love the show since discovering Poker Night Lab about 2 months ago, and I watch every day. You must be exhausted, Colin, but
Good
thank
for
you
you,
very
Colin.
much.
Hardcore.
Glad to hear it." So he started playing online a couple of weeks ago and has had some success. My question is, when should I show my cards and what advantage can be gained by doing this? Also, when should I use a check raise and what can I read into my opponents when they do this, as it seems to happen to me fairly regularly? All right, so the first one being whether to show or muck, I suppose.
These are, you know, lengthy topics. Whether show or muck, well, if you never show your cards, you're not doing a whole lot wrong, to be honest. It can never be bad to not give away information you don't have to give away. I mean, playing poker is about information. The more information you've got about your opponent's hand, the more accurately you can get his cards.
Yeah.
And the greater the chance of you having an edge. If you show your cards, you're showing what you did with what when, and the player can go, oh, so that's how he plays when he bluffs, or that's how he plays when he's got a strong hand, or whatever. So my advice would be, the vast majority of the time, don't show your cards, and consider never showing your cards. I think a lot of the time people show their cards out of ego. So, like, if they make a bluff, people are tempted to show to rub people's nose in it. But actually, it's dumb because you're giving away information as to when you make a move.
Yeah.
And the only time that I would do it is if I'm playing Casper and I've successfully bluffed him. Because he hates that. No, the only time I would do it is if I thought I was going to gain an edge in some way by doing it. To give you an example, the best example I ever had was I was playing the heads-up final of a tournament, and I made a bluff on this guy, and he thought for ages about calling, and he had a decent hand, and he threw it away, and I showed him my bluff, and the reason I showed him my bluff is I knew that it would have a psychological impact on him, because he'd made an obviously wrong decision. So there are some exceptions why it's a good idea. Oh, 2 aces, this could be our confrontation here.
It might just be. Oh,
it
it is.
Baggy's calls. And he'll need one more big card. Would have split it. No!
Ooh, ah.
First Slope is our winner.
Ooh, are.
Well, do you get $700 and something or something?
He does get $700 and something
really
dollars.
like that.
Ruddy
Well played,
goods.
first slope. That must be a good feeling, beating 258 players.
Yeah, he gets $712, in fact.
For a $10 buy-in.
Ooh.
That's all right, isn't it?
Ooh, I think that's quite good,
A
really.
little bit more than ooh.
Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ah.
A doubler.
Ooh.
That's rare.
I say. Anyways, let's let's leave the second half of that email because
Are we leaving it?
Well,
Okay.
not leaving it entirely.
I've
we may come
written
back
it
to
down.
it if there's
check
time.
raising.
Yes.
If there's time, we'll do check raising. Okay.
But first, there's a bit of a lengthy email here
is
about
there?
a call that you made earlier in the night on one of Ken Snappett's plays.
Or can we not just say that I was right and move on?
And just move on.
No.
No, sorry. No, you're going to have to defend your position. So
Okay,
here we go.
Here we
right.
go.
Email from Rob. Right. Hi, Nick and Kara. First thing, nice result tonight, Kara. Thank you very much. 2 more places to improve. Well done. Now to my main point. Nick didn't like Snappett calling a raise with a pair of 7s and seemed to feel it was not a correct play. I have to disagree with you, Nick, and this is why.
Bold.
Very bold indeed. Ken only had to put in approximately 5% of his stack to call the $2.50 raise. Also, and very importantly, his opponent had more chips than he did. Now, ideally, if Ken were to make his set on the flop, he's in a good position to double his stack, especially if his opponent were to make top pair. Obviously, if he misses, he can check and fold, or maybe connect on the turn or the river. He can still win if his opponent has only 2 high cards and doesn't bet. He will make his set around 12% of the time on the flop, but this time was only risking 5% of his stack. If he were to make that play 100,000 times, then in my mind he would have a positive expectation. Myself, I would make that call even if I were given a sworn affidavit that my opponent had ace-ace. Really? I wouldn't. If I make my set, then I'm going to have a great chance of either breaking him or doubling my own stack if he has more chips than I do. If I miss, I fold. I'll make that call and put in up to 10% of my stack or 10% of my opponent's stack.
No, you wouldn't, Rob.
If he happens to have less chips than I do. Believe me, Nick, I am no pro at this game, and if you feel my analysis of the situation is incorrect, I'll be the first person to listen to what you have to say. I make calls like this as often as I can because I found it to be a winning play in the long term, and that's very key. If you hit your set, you can win a large pot. If you miss, you don't invest another chip. For me, this has to be a long-term winning play. I'd love to hear your comments. Great show. Keep it up. Okay, bold move, disagreeing with TV's Nick Wealthall.
It is a bold move, but strangely often a right one. I don't agree with you, Rob. It's actually quite a complex answer, and it has to be off the top of my head, which is a bit tricky. But the main points are these. There are a lot of premises in your email to justify making that call that aren't necessarily 100% right. Now, first of all, let me preface it by saying there are no absolutes in this game. So I'm not going to say to you, never call a pre-flop raise with a small pair, because I've done it, and sometimes it's right to do it. And it is right to do it when the chips are very deep compared to the blinds. And we talked briefly about implied odds, and if you have got a chance to take somebody's stack down, it can be the right thing to do. It can particularly be a good move if you're playing against a tight player. Because if you're playing against a tight player, A, you can, if they make a pre-flop raise, you can put them on a specific hand before the flop, because tight players play only good hands usually. And B, you stand a good chance of moving them after the flop. The big problem is with small pairs is that the premise in your email, where you've made a mistake, Rob, is that you've assumed that when you hit a set, you'll always win the hand. That's not necessarily true. Sometimes you'll hit your set and lose, so you have to allow for that. Also, you may well get situations where the other thing that you have to bear in mind is how often can you miss hitting a set and still win the hand? That's a big factor. And it's not the same for every situation. You can't say it's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. If you can move the other guy off the hand, that is a big factor. That makes it more of a affordable play. But there's no way I would consider putting in 10% of my stack. That's a huge amount to put in on a 7.5 to 1 shot that still may not be a guaranteed winner. There's lots more to say. I don't have time to say it. I would point you the way of Harrington on Hold'em, I think volume 2, and he says why it's often a mistake to play small and medium pairs for sets. I'd point you the way of that for a fuller explanation.
Okay, and
it's a big topic.
It is a big topic, and don't forget to tune in tomorrow night for the Spin Pass Poker Multi-Table Tournament. It's a $10 freeze out. That's going to be fabulous. And we need to say thank you to Tragic Trev for his fantastic singing in the jingle, which I have to say, I love, and I hope we hear lots and lots more of.
It's made your life, hasn't it?
Oh. Did you
Cara
see the
Scott
smile?
Is a money winner. Come on.
Oh yeah!
Poker goddess.
See you again very soon.
19.
The whole what's in the hole? What's